state. Fuck you.
Yeah, leave it
Fuck
there for
you.
a minute.
R pull. Show us your genitals.
Won't state. Fuck you.
You know, if I ask him to, he will put you backstage. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be nice.
I will.
We'll start with the ad homs. Because
Okay.
You need a blessing of Jesus.
on a Christian channel, you would have been put backstage with the ad homs.
Father, Son, Spiritus Sancte. Where's my holy water? Pretend I'm shaking this on you. Jesus, in the name of your Son or your Father, wherever. Cast the demons out of Jill so he stops filibustering and I don't have to send them into purgatory.
That's the devil's juice. Mountain Dew.
The devil's juice is Mountain Dew, code red. Having a relationship with God and getting to know him through the things that he reveals to you. I would say, what has he revealed to you? You'll say, the Bible. I'll say, no, he hasn't revealed that to you. A man has given that to you. What has he given you? Your brain, your logic, your reason, your experiences, your ability to interact in the world that he created and then reason for yourself and think through these things. God gave you your eyes and your brain. God didn't give you the book. A man gave you the book and said God gave it to some other man.
But you could argue that the writers did get it from what you're claiming. As in,
Yeah,
what
but I don't
was
know why I
revealed
would
to
trust their
them, they
experience
wanted
more
to
than I
share.
trust my experience. Welcome back to another installment of Flow State. It is the third one for the day. So I just got off of Based Oracles, and we were backstage for a little bit afterwards, and it was me and Richard and Generally Specific and I-Fi. And so, of course, the discussion turned religious. When I got off, Jake here, this is Jake. He is my daughter's uncle, ex-wife's little brother, but he's the good one in the family. Turned and asked me if religion is satanic. And I have my own thoughts on it. Can you hear me? Somebody says hi, Jake. So I think they can.
Hello.
So that is the topic of the stream. I have my own thoughts on it.
Turn on your mic.
How the fuck did they know your name is Jake if they can't hear me?
That's a good question. But plug the mic into that.
I think. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a 1 or something.
You said they can.
Oh, I wonder if it's running through a different mic source. Is this better? I think I was on default mic, so this should be better. Anyways, where was I? So yeah, the question is interesting because obviously it's obviously interesting. I've had this thought before, and I guess I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Do you want to? What is your thoughts on it? Like, you asked the question. What prompted it?
I mean, I guess just thinking about like, I don't know, kind of like the origin of religion in general, because like the etymology of religion comes from religare, which is to bind, or to
bind back
constrict and prevent further progress. And so, I don't know, it's just the thought that kind of came in my head.
So, and I would say, in my opinion, yes, it is, because, like I was saying earlier, a relationship with God, right? Let's concede that there is God, and it is a personal God, so you should have a relationship with him. I can't think of a better way to prevent that than to say God's done talking to people. Hold on. Than to say God's done talking to people. He did all his talking here. I'll interpret it. I'll interpret it for you, and bada bing, bada boom. Then you've got people thinking that they know everything. There's no reason to keep learning. Yeah, I mean it's a blocker, I think. Yes, this is ISTP, Jake. Definitions are lame. You're going to regret these statements on Judgment Day. Not at all. Challenge accepted. And it's shit like this that makes me even more convinced that religion is satanic. You don't know my heart. You don't know my beliefs. You just see the title of the stream, and for that you condemn me. Talk about being hypocritical. Amen. Praise God.
Just praise God, man. Fucking praise God. God is so amazing. The sun, the nature, the earth, water, the way words work, the way knowledge works, the way love feels. God. Praise God, man.
Jake says Jake should change his name. What's up, Kaizo? Kaizo, mic check.
Hey, what's good?
What's up? And Beboppin'. The link is pinned. I would like to hear you explain why God would be mad that I actually give enough fucks about the topic to think about it instead of just, accepting whatever I'm told and writing it off.
Oh, also, that was me commenting on Ike's account, right? Like, definitions are lame, man. What the hell is it, religare, man? That sounds like some, what the hell is religare, man? How relevant is that, my G?
I think it is relevant. Hold on a second. Who's the person? Beeb Booper or something? Damn it, we're dead. Beboppin'.
The link's right there. It's literally right there. One click away.
Religare, religion, to bind back, is derived from to bind back or to restrict.
Right. But gay also means happy, right? But, still pointless, right?
No, it's not pointless. It gives you understanding and insight into the. It's not the end all argument.
Okay,
definitely not.
Sure. Sure, but I can assume also like the word relegate, right? All these words are probably
33 watching. Illuminati confirmed.
Right. So even for this word, like let's say relegate, right? I'm sure that means the same thing, right? I don't know, but I can pretty sure it means that thing that you came up with, relegare or whatever. So I guess the point is, if you relegate something, I'm just saying it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, religion is not satanic. There's satanic religions. There is non-satanic religions. And at the end of the day, I think what you really mean, is it evil? Maybe.
So maybe we should define. Maybe we should define what is meant by satanic. And I don't know what you thought when you asked the question, but I think that in my mind, in this context, it means something that is trying to separate man from God.
Yeah, I think I can push back on that, Flo. I don't know if that's correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see, well, yeah, what do you mean? How would it push back on it?
How would religion separate somebody from God?
So religion harkens to Abrahamic religion, right? So
I
when
mean,
we talk about big religion, it's Abrahamic, and then like India, right? There's not much else. Nobody really subscribes to pagan or.
I mean, not many people here in the West, but I think that I guess the question doesn't exclude anything that's institutional and gives you the completed instruction manual from God and has an intermediary class, I would say, like a pastor or a priest or whatever.
So is your issue when people form institutions because, in your opinion, they don't have concise and irrefutable knowledge of the truth of the matter? And because
my
of that,
my issue with institutions is that by definition it's a power structure, and the institution co-ops it co-ops authority over what is a personal experience, whether or not you believe in God or whatever. I'm agnostic. That experience, the spiritual experience, is a personal one, and so to hand it over to an institution it's the antithesis, I think, of spiritual.
right, but that at that point you're picking and choosing, because I believe you said yourself that God lays bare all the tools needed to come to him when he created us, right? So it's laid in the mind, it's laid in the heart, it's laid in the spirit. Everybody is born with that. So if people form an institution where all of those things that are inherent to human nature flourish, and those are the types of things that come to bear, I don't know how that's satanic. So then it would be a picking and choosing, saying this religion actually does adhere to the inherent nature of man, but these over here don't, and then it becomes satanic. So it's kind of a convoluted question in a way. You know what I mean?
I mean, kind of the moment that you bring Jesus Christ into it makes it satanic, just like any other idol.
No, it doesn't, because the Christian orthodoxy is, you can say, like the 10 Commandments are the way that all Western culture, on the majority, not on the whole, but that's how they operate, right? So don't steal, don't kill, don't lie. And all of these things, I would argue, and I think Flo would agree for the most part, that those are all inherent. So that's why I brought that up when Flo said that it's printed on our hearts and our minds. So I don't know how you could correlate. Go ahead.
So Christianity allows slavery. I mean, that's how white Europeans justified enslaving my people, right? In America, it literally says, slaves, be good slaves, do not fight back, and worship and adore your master as if you would Jesus and God. I mean, things can't get more demonic than that. So you're talking about stealing and all these things, but you stole a human being and you justified it because the book and religion allows you to do it. So at the end of the day, I fundamentally agree with Flow State. I won't say satanic, because I think that's a very specific thing, but religion in itself is ill-equipped to give order based on justice, truth, and rightness, right? People can then, of course, court or control these religions and make them what they want, but ultimately religion, all the major religions, right? Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, all these things are evil religions. I can read you countless of verses that talk about evil against mankind.
Sure, but I could say that your idea of slavery is just power run amok. You know what I mean? So I could say that people in the West and the US right now are slaves in one way or another, and then it becomes a gradient at that point. Then you could say, well, at this point in the Bible, that slaves were looked at it this way, this amount of ownership. I don't know if, or actually I would argue that in no way is an argument to disregard the context of the Bible or its history or its truthfulness. Now, I'm not necessarily a diehard Christian, although I think that there's a lot of truth in it. I definitely believe in God, and I don't think that it's satanic to subscribe to a religion if it holds the values that one feels inherent. If you are taking the position of a person like Flo might take, that would say that morals and right and wrong and the search of God is inherent in the human. So they have that. They're born with that. God gives that to them. So if the morals align with it, then how is that satanic? I don't see it, even if it's an institution.
For the sake of this conversation, does anybody, I mean, I just threw this out. Does anybody have any disagreements or additions to this definition on screen?
No.
I mean, if you
It would
define it that
actually-
way.
So this is how I'm defining it. Maybe the title might have been a little bit clickbaity. I don't want to get hung up in the definition of what's properly satanic or not. This is at least what I mean by it.
So just to be fair, right? Like that actually matches up biblically. Like the concept of a devil meaning adversary or an enemy, that kind of thing. You just putting satanic on there again. It's just another word. It comes to the same definition, so it applies.
Okay, we all have the same. Okay, so then flow state. I mean, I don't think religion separates man from God. I think man separates man from God, the individual itself. So those people who lack spirituality when they're sort of engulfed into religion. I'll give an example, Islam, right? These niggas out here bending over every day, praying to God, following 5 prayers every day, like robots, right? I don't think that these people are prevented from, having a, so-called experience with God, because these are not spiritual people. These are NPCs anyways. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, that they think they are spiritual, though. That's the thing. They're being given this activity. It's a routine. It's a routine they're given, and they're part of the club. And now they think that they're spiritual, but they're being lied to. That's the antithesis of spirituality. To fucking kneel in one direction 5 times a day and have some other man tell you what God wants you to do. That's the opposite of spiritual. So
I go ahead.
It's looking to the external for guidance instead of looking internal.
I would just ask Flo a quick question, if you please. Do you talk to God, Flo?
No.
Not at all? Never?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you define that activity. I would say that all of us do in the form of intuition or premonitions or, like little things that we can't explain, right?
I would say that talking to God is literally talking to him, saying, thank you for this thing that happened in my life. It was wonderful. Or please protect my family. I'm worried about them. Give them guidance. Something along those lines where you're actually
conventionally pray.
So talking to God to you is being a leech and always asking for favors. You see, that's already lack of spirituality over there, right?
No, there's giving thanks.
Fairy tale jinn. I mean, you just literally explained it, right? Because your spirit just talked out there. You use God as a jinn, right? As a genie, and that's not spiritual at all.
No, talking to him.
Every example you gave was you asking God for something.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Reel the tape back. Initially, what I said at first was I said thanking him for something.
I think he's just giving examples of colloquial prayer.
No, I get that, but if you think about it, right? Because this is going deeper to your point. These Christians, these Muslims, all they do is use God as a genie, right? Even thanking him for the things you have, that is still you thanking the genie for having granted your wishes. If you're going to be spiritual, it's going to be.
It's like a lucky rabbit's foot.
Yeah, it's not. It's not some type of commodity. It's something you feel in your soul, and it's someone you talk to out of nowhere. It's something inherent that happens. That's why I asked him if he does it. It's because it's a normal thing for people to do, even if they aren't indoctrinated, or even if they haven't been grown up and brought into some type of, in Flo's words, a religious institution. So my contention is that people have that within them to talk to God. People I talk to have done that. So that's why I asked, because he said
let me give you context.
Agnostic, right? So agnostic means that. All right, go ahead.
When I speak to God, right, there's none of this. Oh God, do this for me, or God, do that for me. When I talk to God, it's simply me meditating, being at one with reality itself, going into my inner self, right, figuring out my own contradictions, my own flaws, and trying to build from that. And by engaging with God, I'm engaging with what I think is the good in the universe, right? I'm not out here using God as a lucky rabbit for, oh God, protect me today, give me food today. I don't know, whatever it is that you religious people do, it is very much lucky rabbits for, as Flow State said. But I would also want to come for Flow State and say, look, Flow State, the spiritual people are not, this I'm talking to anyways, regardless whether they are kind of locked into religion or not, they would have never become spiritual to begin with. So I don't really think religion lies to them. I think religion is good for NPCs, and that's the level of fake spirituality that they can ever hope to sort of.
Yeah, well, I think you just called yourself out there at the end and called it fake spirituality. I don't think you might. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you believe in God. I don't think you believe in God. I think you believe in the argument that everything is infinite and the way of nature and Mother Earth is your God. That's kind of how it seems.
I don't believe
you guys pause the slap fight? Pause the slap fight real quick. Sasquatch, you said you have a prize or a surprise for me. Do you
a gift? I came bringing gifts.
Make me suck the sushi off this stick. Right on. Fantastic gift.
All right, I'm going back to bed. I had to do that.
All right, guys, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to correct my brother here. So, brother, I've been watching you since we had this conversation. I brought up slavery, and your immediate response was to justify it. You're justifying evil and start to, it wasn't that bad or this. You see, this is the issue with the religion at all, right? It's satanic. It separates man from the truth. And I'm defining God as truth to me, right? And
yeah, well, hold on. I'm going to, one point at a time, I'm going to disregard that at whole because it's a disqualifier. You're trying to say that there isn't a power dynamic between men and men that hasn't gone since the beginning of time. It's always been a power dynamic. And the degree of slavery you're bringing up as a disqualifier for God, and I think it's a non-argument. I don't even need to entertain it.
Your God is so stupid that he thinks stealing a piece of bread is bad, but stealing a human being is okay. I mean,
God, if you subscribe to the Bible, then you must understand that God put man and woman on earth knowing that they would be tempted, and that's why he brought his son to the earth, right? So you're trying to say that you can have yin without the yang, you can have good without the evil, and that's not how things work.
I'm telling you, the Bible justifies slavery. Slavery can exist in the universe by itself.
No,
I'm talking about religion.
This is a moot argument because the Bible says that God created everything, the good and the bad, the dark and the light.
Right.
So sure.
I'm not arguing against yin and yang, evil existing in the world. I'm saying your God justifies evil. In your Bible, it's justified evil. That's
no, you're trying to say that a power dynamic is something bad. In the Bible, the people who own slaves consider them their own family.
This is the circle. What do you think, Base? What do you think?
Well, about the circle, I mean, I think it's interesting. I just hopped in, but as far as the apparent condoning of slavery in the Bible, is that the argument versus therefore religion or God evil? Is that it?
The broader topic is religion satanic. I think it is because it acts as an intermediary between man and God. It separates. It's an obstacle to the relationship man has with God because it says, here's the book. God's done talking to people. It's already been done. And, oh, yeah, by the way, here's some dudes on payroll to tell you what to think about God. So
yeah, I more so agree with you than not. This is one reason I don't promote a religion, but I absolutely do believe faith is important. God is real, or real in the sense of creator of the world, the universe, whatever. So I agree with you. I think that many religions, maybe all, have led to a lot of division in the world that is not only not necessary, but in a sense evil, and therefore exactly to your point.
Help me here. There's a little slight problem here. So the blame is your initial blame is to blame the institution or the AKA the middleman, right? Who is also the one that created everything. Like an example, like if you're just taking modern Christianity or not modern Christianity, but Christianity itself, right? Like it had a founder. It had its beginning origin. You could say that he was the middleman, and for some odd reason, there always needed to be a middleman in there, right? But you can't like, how do you blame the thing that created it in the first place and then blame it as like an in between? How would anybody know about it?
So okay, I hear that point, but what do you mean religion created God? I don't get that.
Well, like the concept of what you would say within Christianity, it's gonna come down to the apostles and their creation of the churches. Like that's what kind of like got that started off. Unless you want to go back a step and go to Judaism, okay, right? But they had the same thing, different timeline.
It's because it's such a crazy idea to believe that God would join in with humanity and have Jesus. It's so wild where the heart yearns for something rational that it can grasp onto because it cannot get rid of the question why. And that's why people wrestle with it over and over again.
I don't wrestle with it. It's bullshit.
I don't wrestle with it really either.
Bro, read your caption. You're wrestling.
It is provocative. I am just because I'm open to new information doesn't mean that I am not fully convinced I'm in the right on this. I absolutely believe myself.
Flo, do you think it would be possible, Flo, that God, the creator of humans, would maybe interact with them at all during our
Yes,
growth?
absolutely.
Well, he does interact.
Do I think that he would do it through a book that he gave to somebody else? Do I think that in what paradigm does it make sense? Here's the paradigm. I created man. Man is good, but he's in a game he doesn't know about. He goes to hell and gets tortured for all eternity. This is very important, Doak. I love him, so I want to save him. So I'm gonna talk to some dudes thousands of years ago. They'll write it down. The message will mostly kind of get passed through, I think.
But how do you?
And hold on, but the most important thing, the way to win the game, is to have a belief in something that makes absolutely no sense and is contrary to everything you'll experience.
Sure. Well, first point, I don't know how you win someone over who doesn't have free will. My second point is I would agree with you when I was younger that I thought that the idea of burning in hell 1,000 times worse in your imagination would be the strongest way to push somebody into a religion that would be geared towards power. So I used to be on your side of the fence too. I'm not saying I'm completely won over. I have issues with Genesis and I'm trying to parse it out myself. But yeah,
the really part of it that I think gets overlooked a lot that I am curious about is the part where the way to win is to be gullible.
That's not the way to win. The way to win in the Bible is to search for God and try to live in his truth, which means following the Ten Commandments.
In Christianity, the way to get to heaven is to believe in Jesus. That means you have to believe that
That's not belief. Flo, it's not belief, it's faith. You cannot have belief if you don't know. It's always faith.
Oh God, this.
Yeah.
He's kind of throwing it off, bro, with this argument. First off, I want to know: do you think religion is inherently like evil?
Do I?
Yeah, Flo. I mean, it's your title.
I don't know that I would go that far. I do think that it's a hard paradigm because I do think yes, in a way, but also I think that people are inherently religious or tribal. They want a bigger thing to follow. And so in the absence of religion, I think like in the Soviet Union, you see worse atrocities than with religion present. So
true.
And I got a question here regarding this. And what's up, Cynthia?
Hello.
So Hey, so from what I understand, human beings, as we know them, have existed for around 300,000 years, and it seems kind of interesting that only in the last couple thousand, which is not even 1% of time, that we didn't have religion. And with that said, it seems that we're closer to the end of the world, so to speak, than ever before. And I get it that correlation is not always causation, but I'm just saying it's kind of ironic. And then you look at the idea of, well, for the other, let's say, 298,000 years, was everyone just going to hell? Or why did God hold back, if we were to look at Christianity, why did God hold back the Bible for 298,000 years?
Well, I think the explanation, like when you talk about the Bible in particular, it's supposed to be like a history book. So some of these scrolls wouldn't necessarily have been called the Bible when they was being, you know what I'm saying, used. Or, you know, some of them, I guess, was called the Torah and other stuff like that. So it could be different books that, you know what I'm saying, necessarily wasn't inspired yet to come together. You know what I'm saying? It was different people that had personal experiences. It's just my way of answering that question, not knowing exactly the answer to that question. Because some people say that God has a different time frame, so some of this shit is just off in our time, because we're putting our man-made time to a frame that, you know what I'm saying, I don't know. So it's a lot of questions with that shit, bro. I don't know, bro. But
well, in Jewish history, it was verbally passed down for well over a few thousand years before it was ever written down. So the kids had to repeat all of the scripture. It was verbally passed down. There was no Bible per se.
What?
Wait, no, that's false.
It was verbal tradition, and then eventually it was written down.
Oh,
it was not. You were supposed to have to memorize all 5 first books of the Bible when you're in Judaism, which that's some of the problem with Christianity, is that it's lost its roots in Judaism. Like, part of the argument that I saw Flo having with GS was your argument that you thought God and Satan were more alike. And when you look at it through the Jewish roots, they don't have a hell. Satan actually was part of the heavenly court meant to test man. So you weren't inaccurate. It's just, why did they do that?
Wrong thing. What's a Jewish? I don't understand what Jewish has got to do with this. Or Judaism.
Thank you, Major Facepalm, for the Cash App. He has released one of the custom emojis, and he wants me to do a poll. I'll do a poll. Let me know if you want the Andrew Wilson or the Base Oracle emojis. Whoever I cut off, I apologize. Carry on.
Well, here, just to jump in.
No problem.
Flo,
I was just going to ask what
hold
religion
on, real
Jesus
quick question
was.
for Flo.
Sure.
Say God really did come down and talk to humanity and said, establish this church in my name, and people followed it. Would that be satanic?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, there we go.
I think
there we go.
I think that. What's the? There we go. There we go. Do you want to hear the answer, or do you want to just be a smug little asshole?
Go ahead.
Are you
I don't
sure?
think you have to cut out the lady for that, because they didn't feel like it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I view Christianity as the inversion of Judaism, not the continuation of it. It took basically, the whole law and ended it, or completed it. It turned God into man. It turned one God into 3. It moved the Sabbath. It undid everything.
Well, I wouldn't say it moved the Sabbath.
Hold on. That wasn't my question, Flo. That wasn't my question at all. My question was,
very valid points.
If God came down and talked to humanity and established a church, would that church be satanic? I'm talking about the true God, the God that you're agnostically believing in. That God, if he came down and established a church with human, if he did a communion with man.
God that he doesn't know exists or not? What you mean?
A hypothetical, boys. I'm trying to hypothetically lead him into the idea that it is not a satanic idea to believe in God. if it's an
Well,
instantaneous.
that's
not
you
what he
would say
said.
that all religious beliefs are going to believe in the same God or even a God, for that matter. Like,
Thank you, HP Nubcraft, for the gifted memberships. Carry on.
yeah, but I was just saying, like, it's just this presume that all religion pertains to God. Sometimes it's not all pertain to God. You know what I'm saying? There's Satanism and all that. You know what I'm saying? So there are other. I mean, according to if we're looking at it from a Christian biblical sense. Go ahead.
Well, and I want to be clear that when I pose the question, I am specifically talking about religion, not God.
So
Yeah.
that includes Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Jansenism, all the other ones.
Religion.
Are they
Religion
satanic?
in general. They're all
So-
satanic.
So getting back to, but a little bit different here. So my understanding is that the language has existed, whether verbally, written, I don't know exactly, but language for 100,000 years. So again, my question would be, what happened for the other 200,000
So
years
I
prior to?
wanted to correct you there, right? You made a crazy assumption that religions only existed for like a couple thousand years, right? Well,
No, I didn't. I was talking about Christianity specifically as the example.
Oh.
I didn't assume that religion in and of itself didn't exist before that. I was just asking regarding one religion in particular.
Right, to even answer that question, right? In the Bible, right, it does. Again, I'm not a Christian, right, but I'll defend logic here, right? In Christianity, you know, for example, before Christianity started, or even before Judaism started, you had, you know, niggas like what's his name, Abraham and stuff, right? He was out there worshiping some random thing called Melchizedek, right? So before then, it was more or less, okay, are you living according to, you know, these tenets, you know, whether it's in your soul, spirit, whatever, call it conscious, or not, before God revealed himself to man. So you're judged based on your merits as a good person trying to live with goodness. And Christianity and Judaism comes later, or rather the other one before the other, just to kind of solidify a step towards this path.
Yeah, I got you. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that answers my question directly. I'm saying, for instance, if you were a Christian, I'm just naming one religion. I realize there's technically, I guess, thousands or at least subsets. So given Christianity, why would God wait hundreds of thousands of years to reveal himself is my specific question. Within the religion.
Obviously, if you think about it, Christians don't just believe in the New Testament. They would have to believe in the Old Testament. The Old Testament is what solidifies that there is a Messiah that comes and is supposed to be coming to save the world. And they claim that he came in whatever time that he came in their time. So the Christians would be studying the old texts of old, like Judaism or whatever, and how many other texts that they had, because I don't know where the disconnect comes in.
It's still not addressing his question. So
Okay, so to be direct,
those texts are older than 2,000 something years.
Yeah, let
okay,
me
to directly address it. Wasn't God, didn't God reveal himself?
Maybe everybody can.
Yeah, didn't God reveal himself to Adam and Eve from the beginning? So to go against your logic, God did present himself to Adam and Eve from the beginning and to their children until something.
Were Adam and Eve of a religion?
Yeah, they believed in God. That was a religion.
No. Now you're conflating believing in God with religion, which we already separated from the beginning.
They had rules
They're
to
not
follow.
mutually exclusive.
They had rules to follow. It's the same thing. God told them the rules to follow, and they
didn't do it.
Technically, it wasn't a name to the religion.
That's a separate thing, right? Them not doing it.
It wasn't a name to the religion, though. Okay.
But it was a religion, right? God told them these are the
You can
rules.
say that, but it still wasn't a name to the religion. So it
The
wasn't a name.
religion. Look, I made it very clear, like literally 2 minutes ago. God and religion are not the same thing.
Right.
So
Agreed.
I would like to try to answer Base's question and kind of just put it in a different perspective. And I'm actually going to use you as the example, especially coming off of your debate of Base, especially coming off of the debate you just had. A lot of people question your strategy. Why did you do this? Why did you do it that way? What are you doing? And I've constantly said you're playing a different game. Now we can take that same and add it to God. You're wanting to know why God wouldn't do something the way you would want it done. Why wouldn't he come sooner? Because if I was God, I would come sooner. So this is where that faith steps in. And personally, me being a woman who identifies as Christian and believes the Bible, these are those moments that I have faith, and I don't even entertain questions like that or go too deep into it, because I'm called just to watch and pray.
Yeah, no, I got you, Cynthia. So I'm not so much saying why did God do this, as much as I'm saying, I mean, originally the question was, what happened to those people who didn't have a religion, didn't know of a religion? There wasn't a religion in existence. Would they go to hell? And therefore, now that it's known, and let's assume that it's true, that now people have a higher responsibility to follow, for instance, the Bible? Because before the Bible existed, there was no responsibility under the Christian purview to follow the Bible. It didn't exist.
Flo, I got a question for you, buddy.
Well, we're gonna answer his question first, like that.
Right. There were different laws. There were different laws back then. And so when Jesus came and he died in the veil, it was a new covenant. It was a new time. So then at that time, there wasn't still the Bible, but there were the disciples who were going out and verbally spreading the word and having the moments.
Let me ask this question of Base. Please humor me here.
No. This
Base,
is the fifth
Go
fucking
ahead,
time
Josh.
you
Go ahead, Josh. Josh,
This
ask
question
this
has been posed
Josh, be
like
quiet.
5 fucking times, and you assholes hasn't even come remotely close to addressing his damn question. So
Well,
he
I think I answered the question earlier. Honestly, I don't know if he heard me though.
Josh, the floor is Josh's. The floor is Josh.
Homo erectus, Homo hillbillius. What happened to all of those fucking people? His question: what happened to all of those people, all of those humans? What happens to them prior to anything that we comprehended as a religion? This is going to predate all of recorded history that we have.
Well, obviously, we can't answer that.
Do you
what
want
we're
an
trying to
answer
do.
from a
That's what we're
Christian
trying to
perspective?
Tell him you can't answer the question. Stop fucking with the whole concept of.
But we're trying to say why. I'm trying to tell you why it can't be answered. Why I'm trying to give an explanation of why it can't be answered.
All right. Anyways, Base, let me ask you a question. Do you think the people of Egypt who
Did you give
worship
your explanation of why it can't be answered?
who worship the sun god, do you think they were wrong in their worship?
Did you give your
But that's not
explanation
the
of why it can't be answered?
question. The question was, what happened to all those people before Christianity? So I believe it was St. Thomas Aquinas answered that the gates of heaven were open to all humanity who preceded that. But I don't know if that's true because I don't know what I believe. But that's been a topic that's been talked about or addressed like 800, 900 years theologically ago.
Yeah.
It's been tackled.
I don't think man can decide who gets into heaven and hell. So to even put ourselves in that place would be asinine in the first place. But that's the fucked up part about it, is that we have people who made themselves that kind of judge and executioner to a certain degree, especially in religious history. And that's the reason why a lot of times that gives a religion a bad name, because of those people, those predecessors.
Well, some were good. I mean,
that's why I say it gives them a bad name, because there are good people. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying that in reference to good people who are trying to practice this for some type of enlightenment, not necessarily for a type of God or give me this God. I heard about that being used as a rabbit's foot or some shit. Kazoo. I don't know. No, my bad. I keep calling you the wrong name. Kazario or something like that. But at the end of the day, I think that we can't necessarily blame, like it's because that's just a rabbit hole that we're gonna always keep going down because of something bad happened in a previous institution. The institution is now inherently flawed and can't be used at all, and do away with it. You're gonna be getting rid of all type of shit.
I want to answer this question more directly. Right?
That's part of the new philosophy that developed with the French Revolution, and that's essentially deconstructionist philosophy. So if you can't fix it and work within the system, you destroy the entire system. But there's times where you could tweak the system and make it better. But we've had fundamentally in the West a philosophy of deconstructionism. And it's like kids who tear apart
Right.
toys and they don't rebuild anything. But you're right, the system is flawed. You can still fix the system. It's whether or not you want to.
Yeah, I want to answer the guy's question, right? So, my guy, right? Christianity is an evolution of Judaism. Do you accept that logic?
You're asking me?
Yes.
What did you say?
Christianity is an evolution of Judaism. Do you accept that premise?
Yeah, from what I understand, that seems
Right.
accurate.
So they share like similar books, and in Judaism, right, you went to heaven because you followed rules such as sacrificing some animals and stuff, so that your sin, can be hidden from God's sight, and that will kind of allow you to see, you weigh out the good and the bad that you've done in life. Christianity then evolves it to believing in Jesus because you see, to answer your question directly, right? Prior to so-called Jesus, you couldn't be saved through Jesus dying for you because he hadn't done that yet. So prior to that, you were basically saving yourself by sacrificing things to God. Now, prior to that, as I mentioned, God revealed himself to Adam, Eve, their children, and they were people like Enoch who were worshiping God all the way to like 20 generations down the line. And these people maintain to do this through practicing just this thing that I keep talking about, right? Being one with their conscience. The Bible keeps mentioning that these people were man who stood before God and were good people. So my point is quite simple. Prior to Christianity, it was Judaism, right? And you save yourself using your own sacrifices and stuff. Prior to that, well, it was you just living your best life, trying to be a good man.
Yeah, no,
So,
I got you.
Different contract.
And what I would say to that is there seems to be plentiful contradictions within religion, even specific religions, in and of the evolution as you've described, versus I don't see any contradiction in God, but I see tons of contradictions within religion.
So to piggyback off of that flow or base, would you say that like the Egyptians and worshiping the sun god Ra, do you think they were worshiping a false idol and therefore a false god and they were living in lies?
So that's a complex question. I know you are framing it simply and want a simple answer, but here's how I would look at it.
Well, I have
that the sun is part of God, right? It's part of his creation. The sun has historically been, from what I understand, worshipped in many religions. It's been a basis of religions. So I don't think that it's wrong in terms of to appreciate the sun, the moon, the stars, nature, animals, life, this sort of thing. I don't think that it's wrong. Now, your question, is it worshiping a false idol? I suppose that depends on what the worship is. Like, are you describing like they were praying to the sun? Is that what you mean?
So the idea is that the God, the creator, the giver of life, that was the Egyptian way of looking at Ra. You could also say, do you think the pagans were wrong in the way they looked at their gods, or Dionysus, or anything like that, or the Muslims, or the Jews, or the Christians, or the Hindus? Were they wrong in their idea and conceptualization of what God is? Are they idolizing false gods? Has all of humanity who look to the stars and talk to God, have they all gotten it wrong? Are they all lacking salvation? That's kind of my question. I'm trying to...
And I don't think it's a binary right or wrong. Like in terms of, for instance, the sun does give life. No doubt about it. It's part of photosynthesis. With that said, are you saying, I mean, if you're getting at, well, the sun is not exactly God and they were worshiping the sun as if it were God, I kind of look at it as gray area in a sense of, the sun is part of God's creation as with the earth and the universe. So I don't think giving praise to, the sun or moon or everything that I just put out there, I don't think it's wrong.
So I was going to ask a couple questions if I can.
Just for a quick follow-up. So you're saying that it's okay to believe in all these religions as long as it's geared towards something that's true?
No, I'm not making that argument. The original question is religion satanic? I mean, that was Flo's question. And I'm just getting into, I see many contradictions within religions themselves. So you're posing the question, well, is it wrong to worship the sun, or are Christians worshiping wrong, etc.?
Exactly.
I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't know that it's a different God than any other God. I kind of look at it that there's one God and everyone prays to it and calls this God by a different name and has different rule books of apparently what God wants or doesn't want.
All right, final question, and then I'll be done. Do you think there's one true God, or do you think there's 100 of them?
I think that there's one God, one universe, so to speak, and they're...
Answer it quickly, and then let Harmon get in before Joseph tries to co-opt the fucking show.
So I'll just leave it there.
All right, fair.
The guy down on the bottom left, what's his name? The guy talking about Melchizedek.
Yeah, we can't see names. Flo left.
You know, what's the guy on the bottom left? Who's
the guy with the dog avatar? Who has the dog avatar? What's your name?
No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the guy below you, Cynthia.
Kaiser. What is it, Kaiser? The guy from, I forgot it.
Is he still there?
Yeah, you could just call him Kai.
Kai.
Are you there, Kai?
Looks like no.
So who's the Christians here? Who's the ones that profess, Jesus is the Savior? I know Cynthia does. Does Base to you? Base?
You're asking if I believe Jesus is the Savior? No.
Yeah, I'm not being tricky or nothing.
No, I'm answering you. I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe
I didn't know. That's what I was trying to find out.
That there was a Jesus. And I'm also not here to beat anyone up about their religious beliefs. I'm just telling you what I think.
Okay, I'm just trying to see. So, which ones are profess Jesus besides
I would say I probably lean more to that understanding myself. My name's Jalen.
So what I'm saying, Jalen, is like this. People keep saying, and Base brought this up earlier. They're saying, was there religion before Jesus came? What was it? Jews? Do you think, Jalen and Cynthia, do you think that Moses, Abraham, Isaac, all those, Adam, Eve, all of them, do you think they were Christians?
No, technically they wouldn't be Christians because Christ wasn't here yet.
Well,
but he's not here now, so you believe in. Okay, listen, I'm trying to. He's not here now, and you believe in him.
Correct.
Yeah, but he's.
So what's the difference in believing that he's going to come?
The story of him has been here now. The story of him was not there. There was a story of a Messiah to come.
Right. And who was the Messiah to come?
They had a law to go by. This is different.
Who were they sacrificing? What was the law of sacrifice for?
The law of sacrifice was all about, like the way you did. It was basically an example of what was to come.
Right. So who are they? Who's the sacrifice? Who's in symbol? That's why you had to get the purest lamb, the purest food, and sacrifice in similitude of Jesus, the perfect sacrifice. So once Jesus come and he sacrificed, now the perfect sacrifices came, and the law of sacrifice is gone, and now you have the law of forgiveness after that. So all those guys, just because Jesus hadn't come yet, they believe he was coming. You guys believe he's coming back. So what's the difference in you believing and being Christian, and then Moses, Abraham, Isaac, and all them guys being Christian?
I don't know what is the hang up about them being Christian. What is the point?
No, that's good. No, it's a good thing. I just I'll hear all these.
Is Christian people having to be Christian? This, like I say, I don't know.
No,
do you think
they
that necessarily
believed in
makes you have to be
Christ.
saved?
Okay, no, you believed in Christ. That's what you believe. Believing in Christ.
They believed in a king. They believed in a king was coming, and they didn't know who he was, and they had him pictured like this.
Oh, but they wrote the Bible about him, and they didn't know who he was.
They knew wasn't what they thought he was. They didn't think it was going to be a poor guy from Bethlehem. So they were. So yes, they knew something greater was coming, but they didn't know who it was until he came.
They practice a religion like this Kai said. They practice, and they carried the temple around. They carried all this around. They have manna, everything.
Absolutely.
They had direct contact with you know what I'm saying, the Most High himself. They wasn't getting,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, a messenger. They wasn't getting the perfect sacrifice and all this to come
No,
and
they
teach
were
before he
practicing it.
said. I get they were practicing, you know what I'm saying, something that's technically what we practice, but not in the same exact way. Because
No,
the laws,
because once he
even
was
those laws, all those laws
sacrificed,
don't pertain to every Israelite in, you know what I'm saying, let's say if you was a part of that those tribes. You talk
do you
about
believe they
600 something
believed in
laws,
Jesus?
huh?
Do you believe they believed in Jesus?
They believed in the Messiah, yeah. They just didn't know who he
How
was.
come no one can
They
answer
thought he was
straight?
going to be like David. They thought he was going to be like King
Whatever you want to
David.
call them, did they believe in Jesus?
They believe he was going to be like King David, but you know, they I
Harmon,
wouldn't say they
because
believed in
that's not what the law
Yahshua.
sacrifice was about.
your question
I
is a
don't think
false dichotomy, Harmon. That's why.
Yeah, I don't like.
What
I'm
do you
not
mean false
sure what you're
dichotomy?
trying
Your
to get at.
comprehension level is low.
No, I comprehend entirely, and I comprehend entirely the or the argumentative trap that you're trying to put people in the paradigm.
No trap. I just want them to realize that they believed in Jesus. That's all. They believed in Jesus just as much as you
where
believe
you
in
get that
Jesus.
understanding from, because they wouldn't have known who he was and none of that stuff. I mean, like, he's called everything but Jesus before that time. You know what I'm saying? He's never called Jesus.
You know him. How do you know
hung him
him?
on a cross. If they believed in him, they wouldn't have hung him on a cross. That's
Oh
what
my
I'm
gosh.
saying.
The
Something was
Sadducees and
coming.
Pharisees did that where they were corrupt. The religion and the Bible talks about them. The law of sacrifice was they were doing that until Jesus came and their Savior came, right? But they still do the law of sacrifice now. The hardcore religion, they say, oh, he didn't come yet. He was just a prophet. I understand that. But still, their practices and their faith was until Jesus came. And they might not call him Jesus, Messiah, whatever you want to call him. So I wasn't trying to trap no one, Flo. I was just trying to point them out.
You asked a yes or no question.
That's just your understanding. We got a different understanding. I respect
You
it.
asked a yes or no question as if there's a binary there, and the answer is more nuanced than the question sets up.
Binary and nuance. Give me nuance. What that means.
The nuance is you're saying did these people believe in Jesus? Well, they couldn't have known who Jesus was back then, but
they wrote about him.
Okay,
Right.
apparently I'm wrong.
What are we hung up on? We're hung up on a word. Is it a word?
It's proven by all the times that they mention Jesus in the Old Testament. You're right.
Do you understand what the Israelites were all about? Like what the whole story of the Israelites is about? Harmon.
I'm listening.
It was a development of the people. You know what I'm saying? It was trying to find the good in out of the, you know what I'm saying, corrupt, I guess you could say. Because, you know what I'm saying, no matter how much they were the apple of his eye, they were still corrupted by, I guess, the rest of this shit that we call the world and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, as far as we're told, and he talked to God, and he wrote down the stuff. And yet he didn't believe that there was a Savior coming. So he didn't believe in.
I believe he believed that the Savior was coming. I don't believe he believed in Jesus, though. I don't think he knew it was Jesus or the name Jesus. I don't think it was nothing like that. I just think that he believed in a prophecy to come.
They gotta believe in. They gotta have faith, just like you have to have faith that the Savior was coming.
Now seems like a good time to take a little break from the insanity.
See, that's why I don't get into this, because people don't use common sense.
What? Whoa, fam. Whoa, Harmon.
I'm on the screen because I'm trying to take control of the floor from Harmon. Now's a good time to remind people memberships are only $1 a month. We've just recently fallen below 1,000 members. Buy a membership, buy 10 more. Make it rain in the chat.
How far below?
934.
All right, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Anyway, so you're taking away from the prophets. You're taking away from people.
Harmon.
I think you think all these prophets are the same and have the same level of understanding, and that's the craziest part about it. Because you got to actually
God talk to them, and you're reading the Bible. You believe in the Bible. They wrote the Bible.
Yeah, but if you read, you got to read the story. I mean, I don't know.
Harmon,
man.
let me ask you what are you doing right now, Harmon? Let me ask you something. What are you doing right now? Are you trying to cause chaos? Are you trying to? No, hang on. I wasn't finished asking. Are you trying to trap Jalen and I? Are you trying to
No.
one up? Are you trying to correct us? What are you trying? What are you
I'm
trying
trying to open your eyes that the prophets of old are the same as the people in the New Testament.
You're hitting a wall. You understand, okay? So I don't understand why you're still continuing on.
Because you're saying that all the prophets and all the people who wrote in the Bible in the Old Testament, and that they quoted a lot of them in the New Testament, that those people weren't believing in the same religion you believe in and the same Savior.
No, that's not what you said. You said Jesus, and we kept saying
Well,
no.
you
They
said
didn't know who
Jesus.
Jesus
His
was.
name wasn't
They
even
didn't
Jesus.
know
You guys
he was
said that.
going to come back as a half man, half God. They just didn't know. They had no idea who he was coming, and that is how Jalen and I are looking at it. And there's nothing wrong in that. And you're sitting here trying to correct us when I'm not understanding why.
Because you're taking away from the power of the prophets.
Y'all are all just fucking thirsty for an apologist.
Oh my God, no!
They are. And
I don't need nobody to apologize. Y'all talking about religion here,
away
man.
from the prophets or nothing like that, Herman. Like,
Do you think Adam was putting on earth that he wasn't one of the greatest leaders and people ever put on earth, that he started the human race, that God found him so perfect that he was going to start the human race, gave him that honor? You think he's a simp? Do you think you think he just randomly picked Adam? That Adam wasn't known before, that he
didn't
was
randomly
great?
pick anybody.
Yeah, he created
I believe
them.
in
That's what I'm
dinosaurs.
saying, Harmon. Like our language
He created
is
Adam.
different.
Now you
Like-
guys can't think.
He created
got a
Adam.
question.
Why would he pick Adam and say you're the person to be this great leader? And why would he already find somebody developed? And why would God?
Like, what?
I don't know.
Just to that point, didn't it say that he created man in the image of God? And then we have chimps and bonobos and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. I don't
So we
believe what
can
I'm
say-
telling. I'm just
we
saying
can
what
look
the
at
Bible
that
says.
in two different ways. As
What
we
did chimps got to do with humans and shit?
It has to
Can I
do
ask
with
a
when people
question?
try to say the 6,000 year, the young Earth, or the old Earth argument.
I mean,
I don't really see how
anybody
it.
has a definitive
Can I
answer
ask
on
a
anything.
question?
These are
Let's hear
hypotheses
Terry's
at the end of the
question.
day.
Jake, has any of this helped you?
Who is Jake?
The one who asked the original
well-
question about all if all religion is satanic or something like that to that effect. Has this helped clarify for Jake any questions he had?
Well, you fucked up on that.
And it was the Christian on Christian attack. I mean, well, you're not Christian, you're Mormon, which is
Is religion satanic?
Who?
Is religion satanic? Is the oxymoron
Mormon.
anyway?
It's sort of an oxymoron, but if you were here earlier when I set up or when I defined satanic for the purposes of this conversation, it was somebody who gets in between God and man, or something. And one of the examples I said, or one of the reasons I said, is that it completes the conversation, which is what you're doing, Harmon.
What I think, Flo, is that you had one point in your life where you're like, well, this doesn't make sense, and now I am in dispute with God, and it kind of seems like that's your own personal journey.
No, that's not my personal journey. I don't know what sort of a generic ass Christian projection this is, that none of you motherfuckers believe somebody can just not be in your cult.
Well, you're saying it's satanic. How is that not?
Shut up, nerd.
Oh, okay.
So
Hold
to
on.
throw a monkey wrench into all this, I do think that, although somebody asked me about Jesus, I don't think that Jesus existed. However, I think that there's a lot of good stories in the Bible. I haven't finished the Bible yet, but I'm reading it. And I think that what is described of Jesus seems to be a good man. So I think there's good guidelines within the Bible, good stories. Yet the idea of religion, as I understand it, the people who are intermediaries, maybe as Flo's describing, like the Pope or priests or whomever, I don't see them as a net positive.
Hey Flo, if we took your title and we put is religion supernatural, would we have the same type of arguments that we're having now? How much would
I
that
don't know
change?
that anybody would. No, probably not, because it's clearly not. I mean, religion.
You don't think religion is supernatural?
No, I think it's the the routines, the institutions, the dogma or doctrine, the rituals. It's the worldly aspect of something that's not really supposed to be worldly.
Would that entail you don't believe in miracles, Flo?
There's nothing to do with miracles.
Yes, it does. It absolutely
But
does.
it's definitely an explanation of miracles or explanation of the supernatural. So that's what religion is kind of.
Well, God could explain that.
What it's supposed to be for, I guess, to a certain degree.
Yeah, but God could explain that outside of religion.
It definitely can. And those people sometimes end up starting religions. This is what's crazy.
Well, yeah, I hear you.
Jalen, did Christ set up a church? Did Christ set up a church?
No, not Christ himself. No.
He didn't set up a church?
Not Christ himself. No, not an established church as in
He actually didn't believe in those or any.
I mean, he set up his disciples to spread his word.
Anything.
Explain this. If you give me just 10 seconds, please. Jesus said to Peter, and I say unto thee, that thou, Peter, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it, and it shall be built on apostles, prophets, evangelists, and teachers.
Future tense runs right into the book of Revelations.
He was talking to Peter right there.
Yeah, he's talking to Peter right there, the same way as Jesus himself is prophesied to.
Okay, you're not a literalist then. He sat there and said, upon my church, I will build this.
Jesus wasn't a literalist.
Oh my
I know that, but he says right there, you're going to take this and say it says it in Revelation. And Revelation.
Okay. Define a church.
I just did. It just did. It
Can
says upon
we
my church,
speak
I shall
that
build
in
this
parables?
And it should be built upon prophets, priests, teachers, and evangelists.
Right. Okay. So
not an actual structure.
That's a structure.
Yeah.
He also set up 12 apostles. And 12 apostles was the head of the church.
Well, technically 2 of them.
Yeah, I don't know
But
what
he did set up an organization. There's no doubt he set an organization up.
Yeah, there is. There's
Passionate. I would love to hear.
I would call it more of a communion than an organization, but go ahead.
It's right there. He said this will
I want to hear somebody besides Joseph and Jalen and Harmon.
Please. Go, yes, go.
I think that religion is not innately satanic. I believe it's more like your answer earlier, where it's nuanced and it's completely dependent upon the individual, whether or not religion separates you from God or brings you closer to God. And for a lot of people, it does a bit of both.
Yeah, but you don't think
It's
there's
nuanced.
any accountability on the specific religion to do that? Because religion has its own. I mean, each one has its own guidelines and its own.
It does.
What am I trying to say? Priest, whatever. What would you consider priests, deacons, pope,
systems,
right? Authoritative figures for the religion,
right?
Like some believe baptism, some don't, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that there's
some
more
are
than
Hindu,
just
and
how
they have Hindu priests and stuff like that, and yogis and all of that. So yeah, there's different systems of order, whether or not that separates you from God.
Some Christians
dependent upon
believe
the individual.
baptism. Some Christians believe they don't have to be baptized. That's
right, and that's based on this sect of religion, correct?
Yes, that's I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying that there's more than just the individual's interpretation. There's also the guidelines of said religions.
Oh God, just
that's not what I'm saying. No, I'm saying
create the religions in the first place. Go ahead.
I'm saying that the religious practices, which is what we were talking about earlier, whether they bring you closer to God or they're satanic and they drive you further away, I believe for some people, the religious practices can bring them closer to God. And for a lot of other people, maybe they don't even practice them and it drives them further away from God. And it's just a place where they want to belong.
I agree.
But I don't know, because it seems very nuanced and there's different paths for many different people.
One thing I do know is that not all religions can coexist, right? Because based on the religion, their own words, this is the only true God. No, this is the only true God. So some of them, or at least all but one, would have to be wrong.
All
Well,
of
that's
them.
the that's
Particularly
the
in the
that's the
Abrahamic religions,
superiority.
though.
But I mean, that's
Yeah,
like
no,
language. We have all these different languages in the world, and they coexist. So I don't necessarily agree with
No,
that.
but specifically, they talk about other religions being wrong. No.
yeah, no.
Yes,
You
they
would be right.
absolutely
Not
do.
necessarily them
So,
being
so this
wrong,
is
but
more
just
than a
other
language.
God. It just depends on the interpretation. Again,
But saying they
Historically,
do coexist right now. We have hundreds of
absolute,
religions.
absolutely.
We're coexisting
But
on
we
this
have
panel.
not. Have we forgotten history? We slaughtered the fuck out of everybody else that did not believe our God. What are you talking about?
of course, that
Then why are
definitely
there
happened
still
and it's still
Hindus in the
happening.
world? That
But that's
doesn't make
also
any sense. No, it's
coexistence.
not
So she
true.
does have a point.
Because
with
the
it.
Romans only went so far fucking down.
I'm just saying they didn't slaughter all the
Some
people.
survived
Obviously,
And the
because
Romans
we
didn't
couldn't
convert
get.
everybody to Christianity as well. Some of the people
Thank you.
actually
They
still
didn't.
practice Judaism and Muslim under Roman Empire. If you actually do your
Yep.
research, go ahead.
Especially if you check out the Iberian Peninsula, they had Jews, Muslims, and Christians all living there before Ferdinand and Isabella took over.
Oh, okay.
They
So a little bit-
coexisted.
let's put something a little bit closer. What happened to Zeus? Where the fuck is he running around at right now?
They still have
I
that.
don't care.
They
I don't know.
still
Do
have
the Greeks
I mean,
do the
yes.
Greeks still
Zeus,
do the Greeks
please. How about Odin? Where's that fucker running around?
do the Nordics still practice that? I don't know. I can't. I
Oh
gotta ask
wait,
them.
we
There's
didn't
some that
kill
do.
anybody. We're just gonna name the handful of people that, or a handful of groups that may have survived. Fuck off. His point's still valid. We slaughtered the fuck out of everybody else, and we've historically always done that, just like everybody before us. It's always been the case.
Not
But that's just
arguing it. I'm
for
saying we
power. Does
coexist
that really
right
have
now,
to be
though.
blamed on the religion, though? Because man always find a way to gain power through
Until
anything.
we
Religion.
find
Exactly.
a reason
Go
to
ahead.
fight, in which case your God being different from my God is just as enough reason to kill you as it is because your flag is different from mine.
Don't get me wrong,
So
they
what-
definitely misuse the religion, but I'm just saying, like, we're not gonna act like, you know what I'm saying, these people were just devout Christians. These people converted to this shit because of a, you know what I'm saying, strong presence of the church in their own empire. This is before they were even a Roman Empire. They were just a Roman Empire. They wasn't the Holy Roman Empire. They had no religion. They were pagans.
That's not true.
I mean,
They
according
had
to
several
Christian beliefs, I hate to, you know what I'm saying, label some other shit, but you know what I'm saying? That's what they
No,
call it.
the Romans had
What if-
religions too before the adoption.
He just said
They're
that. It was
definitely
pagan.
religious, but they're technically called pagans in according to, you know, our belief, my
Christians
belief.
call them pagans because anything
That's what I
that's not
said.
anything that's not the Abrahamic God is pagan.
Where'd the
What
word
if
pagan
what if
come
the
from?
somebody said, I think it was Jalen said that religion has been misused. What if that was the intention of religion the whole time, to get people under control, for the power of the people at top, to cause confusion and division? Like the Bible is self-contradicting in many ways.
Yeah,
when
that's
looking at it in its entirety.
that's antithetical to government power. So I don't know why any type of government
No,
would push that.
it's not, because
How is it-
the best way to keep power over somebody is to not let them build themselves up.
No, you're wrong, Flo.
What's antithetical mean, base?
Hold on, Flo. You're 100% wrong. Just want to let that be known. You're wrong.
You need to explain how I'm
But
wrong.
why?
Yeah, explain why he's wrong. I mean,
Yeah, because
I may
either-
believe you, but explain how he's wrong.
Right. Either your government is God or your God is God. So those two are always in contrast of one another. That's why we have a separation of the
There's
US
no. If there's a separation, why are religious affiliations nonprofits?
In our country right now, they're separated. But
You're
that's
trying
not.
to- hold on.
That's
Just
not
to-
the way it's always
Tell me
been.
Joseph,
Just
I'm gonna
get
kick you off
Flo's
the fucking
point
panel
of-
again. You know what? Get the fuck out of here.
What?
Tell me to hold on my panel.
Oh.
And didn't answer the question. How am I wrong?
Yeah, so I don't think that they are separated. I know that there's this technicality right there, technically separate, but I don't know that they are. So I was wondering what he was getting at, but I don't know that he was going to tell us anyways.
Is what church runs the United States of America?
Well, we don't have a theocracy, but historically there have been plenty of theocracies, whether it's in Judaism where they had to give 10% to the state when it was Israel, or Holy Roman Empire, there's theocracy there. We don't have a theocracy.
I thought you were kicking me, Flo. You want me to answer that?
I wanted to hear your answer to a question. I think it was based. I was kicking you. You're an incredibly obnoxious panel guest.
So, I think the question was, how are they separate? Religion.
Okay, yeah,
government.
sure. So, if you have a government, that's usually the focal power of how to get all of your meaning derived, or otherwise you have the church. Those two are antithetical towards one another. So if you want to have a government that's church focused, that's antithetical towards a socialist government or anything like the kind. And that's why Flo is 100% wrong here. And if you want to refute what I'm saying, go ahead. But
I was distracted by the chat. Give it to me one more time. How
Sure. Sure. So you either have people who go through socialist means to get all of their wants and needs met and their meanings, and they do that through government power. Otherwise, you could have a religious framework in which all of the commandments, let's say, of the Christianity faith, those are what are adhered. So if a state wants power, they do not want a religious base of people. They're antithetical. They're not.
That is not historically the way it's been.
Sure, but okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Well, you said sure.
I mean,
I think he's wrong, but I want to hear what
What government are you talking about? Are you talking about the United States government, or are you talking about in general?
Population, because the Pope wanted control over all of the monarchies. The Catholic Church ran Europe for 1,000 years.
Yeah, not only was the Catholic Church getting into state action, I don't think that actually tracks historically with the Bible, but that's not a government-run socialist program. That's an actual Christian populist way of running the world.
Have you seen Pope Francis?
The Roman Catholic guy who's praying in mosque. Yeah, I've seen him.
The ones that gave us the Bible.
So I would argue that
Grandpa Constantine, by the way,
you guys are trying to get
you just
weeded down, and
another one you get the Bible from.
No, listen, this is the Jungian argument when he said either the state is your God or the God is your God. It's very simple. Like everybody who has any type of degree in economics understands this. Flo's wrong,
the state is your God if it's divine mandate. That's how states have been run through most of human history. Right now is an enigma.
The Bible is and the Christianity is a form of government.
Can be.
It is. It's just a form of government.
My opinion is that after the Roman Empire, when Christians were no longer persecuted in 300, the Christian faith, through Catholicism in the West, adopted a distinctly Roman way of running their church, which is a hierarchy pyramid system. I don't think it's the same in Eastern Orthodox, but, it's different. And so that's a power structure. I don't know that that's the religion for Christians everywhere. Like there's Ethiopian Christians and they didn't have a pope.
No, but Jesus already came back to them. He died in 1973. He's already been back and died again, the Ethiopian Christians. Did you know that?
Harmon?
No, I don't really study them. But I just...
That's a Christian religion. They believe very hardly that this guy came back and he was Jesus and he died in 1973. Look it up.
I'm just saying that I don't think religion was started to be an extension arm of the government to govern people. I believe religions, shortly after their inception, are then therefore hijacked by the systems on earth of people wanting power. I just don't believe religion from its sole purpose is created to control the masses. I just think that it's easily to control the masses through religion. Just like it is through the propaganda of the press nowadays. Those are different arms of controlling the populace.
Let's hammer this out. Let's hammer this out. It's actually a really good point. I think it's got a valid direction to go here. So, like, let's take the concept of Santa Claus. Where did that come from? Why do we teach it to kids? You know, aka fat man coming down my damn chimney and gonna deliver.
I can answer that for you. That comes from Saint Nicholas, a bishop of Myra, who dropped coins in these young girls' shoes because they had no dowry for marriage. So it was originally gold coins that parents would put in their kids' shoes on the feast of Saint Nicholas, which is in December. It wasn't associated with Christmas, even though it was around Christmas time. But there you go. And then it got transformed into what we have now.
How did it get transformed?
How did it get transformed to Santa Claus in the U.S.? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
That came from the German and the Dutch immigrants, Saint Claus, Saint Nicholas, and then they adopted it towards the more Protestant religions here and associated it with Christmas. It's not the same as Kris Kringle, which means Christ child, but they got moved. The feast day got moved from December 6th to Christmas Day. Who exactly? I don't know. It's like Halloween. I have no idea. It just transformed over the last 200 years.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know. I kind of got.
It's an American thing. It's essentially an American thing.
Parts of it, yeah. I mean,
what we know now on TV.
Well, the Germans got a slight different take. I'll give you.
Yeah. What about Krampus?
Yeah. So you asked that question.
Francis?
Well, it was definitely a conflation, but the idea is where does it come from, right? Like the idea that there was Saint Nicholas. I'll grant you that one, right? And there was a tradition. There was a tradition. Okay, I'll give you that one, right? How did that turn into something beyond that?
People like to exaggerate and go beyond. It's just like what Flo was saying about religion being used to control the masses. Is people who? What do you mean?
I can answer. I can try to answer. I can try to answer you.
Who turned Saint Nicholas into something else?
Macy's.
Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, Macy's did it under commercialism. Krampus was. Krampus was not a good person, and they still celebrated in Germany and stuff. He wasn't a good person. He was after the bad children. But they wanted to, they wrote The Night Before Christmas, and that was the first starting of it in the 1890s or something like that. And then Macy's took it and made it a holiday thing and made him Jolly Old St. Nicholas and became commercialized. And so really before that, you really didn't have what we call Santa Claus nowadays. He started with the Macy's
So
store.
marketing created Santa Claus.
Exactly, 100% marketing. It's real simple. Yeah, it's not hard to look it up. You know.
Well,
so
that can't be true because the first on record is 336 AD.
I was looking at Turkey.
You're talking about like it's an American thing. It's been a celebration to a weird degree since 336 AD.
I understand. I've read that part, and I've read where they go there, and they go to the shroom, the mushrooms with it, and everything else like that.
Oh no, I mean according to Christianity.
Oh my gosh.
No. It's just that
I don't know when Saint Nicholas of Myra lived. I'm sorry, I don't know. I just don't know that stuff.
That's why everything's red and white, because of the red and white mushrooms that they would do it with back in the original area. That's where it all came from. You guys don't know. You know that for sure. That's common knowledge.
Okay.
You know, that's why
I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
Okay, you know those red mushrooms that are red and white? They got they're red with white spots on them. No?
Yeah.
Okay. And back in the Norwegian time where the reindeers are and stuff like that, that's what these the shaman would go around and they would deal with these mushrooms, and that's where the red and white comes from. That's mixed with something else, just like the man was just saying it's mixed with so many other things. But that's where the red and white comes from. Just type it up. It takes 2 seconds.
You're really going down some rabbit holes tonight.
No,
huh?
it's just what it is. It's
Alice in
simple knowledge.
Wonderland rabbit holes.
It really is, and it's just so
like mushrooms
weird
and
odd to
everything.
me.
Okay, watch
that
this.
the
I'm
Chris-
getting
that the
bigger.
peop-
I'm getting smaller.
Right, and that the people who believe in God and y'all brought the most confusion, and it was just so bizarre.
Because you can't comprehend it. Red and white.
Can't
Comprehend it. Like that's like you're so insulting, and you don't even realize it at this moment.
Right. I'm talking about a historical record of the Christian church celebrating Jesus' birth, December 25th, in 336 AD.
So you as a Christian, I can tell you.
Do what?
That has nothing to do with Santa Claus.
But there's the problem. So like St. Nicholas, what was it, like 340 AD? So I'm like somewhere in there, just after this point. How did it get carried on? How did St. Nicholas get turned into something else?
It's like the Christmas tree. That's not a Christian tradition. That's like a pagan German holiday that they adopted because it's the winter solstice, and so they just let them bring in their traditions. Same with like Halloween. That's based on a Celtic holiday. What is it? I don't know what it is, but they let them bring in their traditional holidays and celebrations and stuff like that, as I understand it.
So
Christians have brought in other.
Just adopted everything else.
They let, I guess, whatever pagan religion, holiday traditions in that they wanted to. I mean, it's not like Jesus was actually born on December 25th. Do people actually believe that? That's not true. That's a pagan winter solstice holiday. The reality is, if you look in the astrological field,
saying that it's not true. In 336, the Catholic Church literally established that by doctrine.
True.
So, I mean, you can say it's not true, and I'll agree that it doesn't really make sense. Like,
no, not astrologically either.
Yeah,
when you see the actual stellar configuration in the sky, it's like around 30 AD in April.
Yeah,
that's when Jesus would have been born.
All
Something like
Christians
that.
know that, but we all know that. So when we celebrate Christmas, we always know that it's not really the day Jesus was born, but we just celebrate the spirit. We all come together and have that celebration together. I don't know. You're turning it into weird stuff, guys, tonight.
Yeah,
but I appreciate you coming up, Pika. You made it. You explained it so easily and simply. But these guys are going down rabbit holes, making it.
There's no rabbit hole. It was.
And they're not hoes. These rabbits are not
They're
hoes.
hoes. They're hoes. They're definitely hoes.
Okay, let me go to the Christmas one real quick. On December 25th, that was a sun worshippers holiday, and that's what they incorporated into the Christian religion. On the sun turns 1 degree. We turn 1 degree every day. 1 degree for 360 degrees, except for December 22nd, the sun rises in the same place on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. They say
that's called the winter solstice. Yeah.
No, the winter solstice is the equal day, and is the longest night. The sun moves every day. Listen to this real quick. The sun moves. We move one degree every day, and the sun raises up 1 degree different every day, and it comes back to the winter to the summer. Okay, except for 3 days. The sun sets still on 22nd, it rises in the exact same degree. The 23rd, it raises on the exact same degree, and the 24th. Then on the 25th, the sun rises again and starts coming back to the northern hemisphere. So that's where Christmas and the sun holidays came. The worshiping the sun came in. So it was worshiping the sun. And Easter sunrise, it tells you what you're worshiping as a Christian. You're worshiping that the sun is coming back into the northern hemisphere, leaving the southern hemisphere. That's the first day of spring. That's why it's called spring. It's springing over into the north again, and that's Easter sunrise. So you're worshiping the Easter sunrise, which we say is Easter's Jesus.
Somebody told me one time I don't have to preach it all at the same time. I could cut it like Subway and give you a 6-inch in the morning and a 6-inch at night. That's not my style. I'm going to shove this entire foot long down your throat.
Amen.
So that's where they
Are you high, Harmon? Have you been drinking, Harmon? Have you been drinking? Have you been smoking?
It's simple.
Dude, I need to get a drink.
What's going on, Harmon? You're wired tonight.
And Cynthia, what's Easter sunrise?
Harmon, I'm not playing this game with you. Like,
what is it?
I'm not playing with you. Have a good night, Flo. Chica, I appreciate you coming up. Hopefully I see
Yeah,
you.
nice seeing you, Cynthia. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Sunrise.
Later, Gator.
I still don't know if Jake has
I won't
had
change
his
my mind
question
because I don't have
answered.
to, because I'm an American. I won't change my mind on anything, regardless of the facts that are set out before me. I'm dug in, and I'll never change.
Does anyone know what Easter sunrise?
I think it was. I think the answer has been clearly stated. I'm sorry, demonstrated over and over and over. Every authority within the, or at least for fair context, within Christianity, we'll go back to Judaism if we need to, but within Christianity, every authority has destroyed every aspect of any type of faith when it came to a God.
Yep.
Have
But
we not
Easter
demonstrated that already, or do we need more examples?
Isn't that the point of authority? Isn't that the point of authority, to become its own God?
Maybe like I weird
You
way
mean
of
like
putting
a?
it, but maybe.
You mean like a 6,000-year-old religion that's historically factual, that has a bunch of
Historically
ankle
factual.
biters?
Okay,
okay.
Saying
historically
seems like
factual
power.
that in that the Catholic Church established the birth of Jesus Christ December 25th in 336 AD. Factual, huh?
Let's
Are
talk
you
about the
saying-
factuality of a virgin
Are you
birth. The
saying these
only
enemies
virgin in that
of
marriage was Joseph.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm
Sorry.
I don't
saying.
know. I mean, he was probably married before.
That's funny. I never heard that one before, Flo. I've heard a lot of them.
That is funny.
You can count on me for the sacrilegious jokes. And by the way, to the 4 people who have unsubscribed, adios.
Oh, crap.
Someone just subscribe.
They liked your header that much. Well, I still want to know if Jake's answers have, if that's helped Jake at all. Is Jake even still there?
No, not really. I think we're gonna reconvene.
He's not. He's not being helped.
Jake, what else do you want answers to?
I mean,
Other questions.
What else can we help you with? Is there anything else that can, any other understandings that can be eroded? Any other, anything else we can shout at you about?
Social norms we can destroy. The roots of your country we can upend.
Yeah,
let's have
he
at
says
it.
that you're all gay and retarded.
Ouch. That hurt Jake.
Not you, obviously.
I'm just surprised the people here. I thought it was common knowledge that they knew that Easter sunrise is when the sun comes back, and that's called spring. And when it falls back into the southern hemisphere for winter, that's called fall. That's where it comes from. And so when you're worshiping Easter sunrise, you're worshiping the sun coming back to the northern hemisphere, which all the people worshipped.
No, that's a great geology lesson. Thank you for that.
It happens every
Bravo.
year.
I want
It
him
happens.
on my team for Trivia Pursuit.
That is 100%. I mean, the
Why
sun
would
does.
you take Harmon when you could have Joseph so he can make sarcastic quips at everything?
Why are you such a hater, Flo? Stop hating on me,
Flo, why did you not understand my sarcasm?
Oh, because you didn't lay it on thick enough.
I'm sorry.
Major face palm. I appreciate you making up for 4 unsubs with 5 gifted memberships. Yeah, and this is correct. It was not geology. I was going to let it slide, though.
The stars.
I try not to be super petty.
We understood that.
Can religion be satanic if one doesn't believe in Satan?
Yes.
Yes, it's an archetype. It's an archetype.
Definitionally true, especially when we're basically tying it back to the Hebrew language, which is generally what everybody wants to push back into that God era.
But I use it as an archetype, which is definitely... Memberships are not overrated. Anarchy Television, for fucking shame. I see that you're too poor for $1 a month. That's why you think they're overrated.
Flo, since you wanted to give me so much shit tonight, is religion satanic? Satanic. It's one of the most retarded fucking things I've ever heard. Is belief in God, belief in the devil? It's just,
How is religion belief
it's
in God?
retarded. It's fucking retarded.
Hold up. Wait. Please do me a favor. Get on like Google and find there's actually several Hebrew dictionaries out there. Look up 2 words in Hebrew, Satan and devil. Then come back and tell me how that doesn't actually
How
make
is religion God? Or
well, not the religion part. We're just talking about the satanic, right? Because his word is with the Satan. He doesn't like the Satan and religion.
Audio crack. Good to see you. It's been a minute. I thought the words you wanted to look up were gonna be God and religion, because that seems to be the line that's blurry.
I have to get a lot of time for you guys to talk before I can rebuttal, because Flo gets upset when I talk. So go ahead and flesh out your entire point, then I'll rebuttal.
I like this. Good idea.
See, I know.
Did you look up those words yet?
No, I don't need to. Why the fuck would I need to look that up?
You seem to
That's
be
one.
confused
Listen, Flo.
about religion
I do enjoy your channel. I think you're a good dude, but that caption is one of the most fucking retarded things I've ever read. Just saying.
That's because you're religious.
No. Do you think you can use the word agnostic as some type of umbrella term for anybody who does not know, but you leave out the word faith, and then you think that if you can point a finger at any of these religions throughout history, that, well, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong, all these people are condemned, or heaven or hell is not real. You know what I mean? It's just a false way of looking at it, and I understand it
because you're telling me what I think and believe, and so that's sort of absurd. That's more.
I'm not. I may be doing that, and if I am, I apologize. But I just think I've been there before, so I'm trying to.
I don't think you have. I know that you think you have, because in a lot of particularly religious people, in their minds, in y'all's minds, if it's not this, then it's this. And what I'm telling you is that your experience of agnosticism or atheism or whatever phase you went through before you went back to tried and true Christianity is different from mine.
Why? I'm not Christian. What are you talking about?
You're not?
No. Been on your channel multiple times saying that.
Well, so do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you believe in Jesus?
Yes.
What the fuck does that make you?
It makes me somebody that believes in God.
Muslims believe in Jesus too.
Do you believe that Jesus is the one and only Son of God who died for your sins?
Let me answer a question you didn't ask that might be more descriptive. Do I believe that Jesus existed? Yes, of course. Do I think that he might have been the Son of God or somebody speaking on the behalf of him, leaving out the trine God altogether? Yes, absolutely. Do I think that God maybe would want to talk to humanity, his own creation, and try to help them along their way? Sure. Do I think that people all along history have been talking to God? Yes. I think people try to put God in boxes, and they have this inert sense to try to understand him. But if this understanding isn't logical, they push that aside, and we have all these fucking boxes. I don't view it that way. I used to view it that way, but I don't.
You go ahead and do it.
So are you against religion then?
No.
Are you a Christian then?
I'll put it this way. No, hold on. He asked the question of, am I against religion? I'll put it this way. If somebody tries to mobilize force against me for my own understanding of God, I will mobilize my own force back.
But what religion are you?
I would say I was Christian.
The whole point of this whole stream is
I
to
think
keep
that would be
it
a good way
away
to
from
put
fucking
it.
religions.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
Like that's the whole point of this. Like by conforming to a religion and the denominations is the whole conversation is that satanic, and you've been arguing against it the whole night, and you're not even subscribed to a religion.
No,
Well,
he
yeah,
just said
because the
Christian.
question's retarded. You want me to go through it
Well,
again?
I just asked you at the beginning. Now you just said about 30 seconds ago that you are Christian.
No, I said maybe Christian curious. So currently, right now, I'm reading through the Bible, and I'm trying. Well, okay, so I'm almost through Genesis, and I'm having quite a hard time grappling with it. And I'm trying to read through the lines and every type of apologetic reasoning for that. I'm talking about young Earth ideals. I'm talking about carbon dating. And I'm talking about evolution. So I've been going through all of those and trying to reconcile what the Christian ideology is with my belief in God and the morality that I hold true, which coincides with that. That's where I'm at.
Every
So
morality system has the same basic foundation, right? You're gonna argue with it, but it is true. Don't be a douchebag is basically every moral system's foundation.
yeah, well, like
So,
I
Yeah,
used to
but
be the type of guy who would say, like, well, look at Jane Goodall or Franz de Waal who are studying the chimps, and look how they have certain behaviors that mirror ours. That used to be mine in my early atheist days, and I don't believe that anymore.
What?
Clearly, but
But can I ask you guys a question?
yeah, let him. I want to know why he doesn't think that the chimps. And then you're next. But why don't you think the chimps' morality mirrors ours?
because you could push back on this flow, that's fine, but I don't.
We're going
Human
to.
beings at least ask the question, why am I here? So that the question being asked and posed is God. It's been asked for a long time, thousands and thousands of years.
Computers ask why they're here.
If you want to have that argument, I'll have fun fucking flaying you apart. But no,
you
I mean, the
sidestepped
same way
it.
you will with chimpanzees.
Kaizo,
oh,
thoughts?
Yeah, I was asking. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of street fights, right? For me, the reason why I would never believe in God is simple. Even if God revealed himself to me right now, how do I know it's God, right? All I know is just something that can trick me or is superior to me in whichever ways. Ultimately, there will never be any proof that this is the... And again, my definition of God is something beyond everything else that is, whatever, you can add consciousness there, right? I can never prove that that thing that is in my face is really the originator or whatever it is you guys are going to call it, right? The first thing. No, I'll just keep getting scammed throughout. I will never have that knowledge. And then, of course, if God reprograms my mind to believe in him, well, that's a whole separate issue. So ultimately, there'll never be an evidence of God. There'll just be an evidence of something that's more powerful than you.
sure. When you have proof of the omnipresent, let me know. You know, I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. That makes sense.
Hey, that's
Do you believe in the butterfly effect, chaos theory? I've just been reading up on that recently.
I do.
What about the new studies that have come out recently with quantum entanglement, where they've done like over a period of time to kind of somewhat contradict the butterfly? Because the butterfly effect is if a butterfly is squished and it creates like a tornado or something.
Did you
But-
call it a theory?
A theory. Yes, absolutely.
Quantum-
It's chaos theory. And then there's quantum mechanics looking at quantum entanglement, where they're showing that we are self-healing. We gravitate more towards instead of like one thing affecting us and then it destroys with a ripple effect, that actually over time, it doesn't matter what happens to you, life has a tendency to regenerate and want to be healed. Like
Hey,
it heals.
Hold up.
Those are
hold up.
some new theories.
It sounds like some bullshit. So quantum entanglement is like a small.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, quantum entanglement is like basically a small, like a proton from billions and billions and billions of light years away, having an effect on something like, say, here. That's exactly what the butterfly effect is. They're kind of almost one and the same, with the exception that quantum entanglement's actually trying to, like, I don't know, explain it away at a micro, like farther than a microscopic level. They're not opposed to each other. They're with each other.
I think quantum anything is just a bypass for having to explain some shit. Anytime anybody says quantum anything, what they're just saying is this is magic. Just believe me.
Well, quantum is just really super small. In this case, quantum, entanglement is like also really far away.
Exactly.
So increase the microscopic level and then increase the distance is really.
It was sort of a joke.
Oh.
I got
but
it.
they don't oppose each other. They actually complement each other, if you want to call it that.
They're like, hey man, that's a really nice entanglement you got there.
Yeah, I see. This is fuck. I'm so
Thank you. What beautiful wings you have.
Yeah, but I'll say like with butterfly effect and chaos theory, that's more like Newtonian stuff. I mean, you can find out, you know exactly why killing a butterfly, or let's say killing Hitler, right? It's going to change everything because Hitler would have
No,
made
that's a question in ethics class. If you have a baby and you know one of them is Hitler, is it okay to kill both of them? Like you don't know which one it is.
I don't even know if chaos theory is a fucking theory. It seems pretty
I know.
reasonable to me.
I
Seems
don't
like
know.
it happens.
Wait, do you even know what a theory is? My guy.
Rue Goldberg machine.
Wait, what are you saying, bro? Chaos theory is a theory. It's studied in physics.
Chaos theory is cause and effect.
No,
but it's a proportion of it.
You know what a theory is, my guy.
You think I'm wrong? Okay, let's get into it.
Theory is the highest level of what you could say as being demonstrated or demonstrated fact within science. That's all it is. Now, is that term often misused? Yes, even in science. So like string theory isn't really a theory. It hasn't been demonstrated or explained anything as of yet. But there are like within quantum entanglement. Yes. But it's also not a new concept because we have that now, like even in basic physics.
Yeah, no, that's not chaos theory.
Well, he
Try
knows
again.
that.
Well, once a theory is proved, it becomes law. I mean, theory and law are different, but I mean, you can have theories about a number of things. What do you think of CERN? What do you think of that? Like, we're talking about physics and stuff.
I don't think much of it. Like right now, I'm trying to struggle my way through quantum energy. I've been reading the same fucking book for like 9 months now. I can't get past
Because you're retarded.
I'm kicking you off my trivia team.
Yeah. So hold on.
I was asking Jake. Jake, what does Jake think of CERN?
Oh man, that's I feel like that's a subject for another night.
We can do CERN tonight.
Just say shooting laser beams at each other seems pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, let's do a little talk about CERN, man, and the quantum entanglement thing, also called spooky action at a distance. It doesn't have to happen everywhere. It doesn't have to happen millions of miles away. It could be 1 inch from another. One photon does exactly what the other photon does at the same time, meaning they're entangled quantumly, moving faster than time. And what I think of CERN, CERN is probably going to be, bring in the next, what do they call that shit where you forget the Mandela effect? There might be some good Mandela effect theories behind CERN. But there's also what they do is they take little particles and they spin them in opposite directions at near the speed of light. And when I say near the speed of light, I'm talking about 99.99999. When they slam them into each other and they observe them when they hit each other. And this is
Hadron Collider?
Yeah, in the Hadron Collider,
Okay.
or over at Fermilab, any one of them. Particle
Well, I'm
accelerator.
confused. How can it be near the speed of light if they're throwing light particles? Don't light go in the speed
No,
of
no,
light?
I said particles. I didn't say light particles. I said they're
You said
particles.
photons. Photons are light particles.
No. When I said photons, I was talking about spooky action. Now I'm talking about LHC.
Okay,
All right.
fair enough.
They throw particles at each other. And when they slam into each other at those speeds, things happen that are different. The laws apply differently than they do in conventional physics, which is why we created quantum physics, because there are different rules. They are just as real as the ones here on the conventional level. For instance, here you drop a glass, it breaks into pieces smaller than itself. In that land, you drop something, you smash two particles, and they may make a bunch of pieces as big as the originals. It's not supposed to happen. In our world, you spend some around 360 degrees. You're looking at the face of it again. There, you could be looking at the side or the back, quarter spin, half spin. The rules are different there. And the reason they come up with the theory of string theory, M theory, membrane theory, is because they're trying to resolve the differences between conventional physics and quantum physics. They don't seem to jive.
Joe, what instruments do they use to measure that? When they hit each other, what instruments do they use?
You know, I don't know the name of the instrument, but they take photographs of it. You can see it as they happen. And this is interesting because whatever they're using to record it as it happens, the particle will seem to vanish and reappear and vanish, all in a line, a circular spiral line, like it's flying off. But it's before it determines what it's going to be. It's different particles of matter. Some are force carriers that are invisible to your eye, like say electron or something you can't see with your eye, and then it'll be a physical particle, and then it will land on the particle that it's gonna be.
How many pictures of electrons have the human species captured?
Oh, a picture of an electron?
How many pictures have we captured?
I'd be unaware. I wouldn't think that electron is visible. That's why I called it a force.
Have we captured any of them?
No.
You can't take a photo of an electron.
Yeah,
right?
that's when it's an
take a photo
invisible
of the
particle.
effect.
I'll be done being a stick in the mud, but I think I made my point here.
No, I don't think you did. I say they appear and disappear. When they're disappeared, they're force carriers, like a photon, meaning it's invisible, and they don't have a picture of it. I don't think you made your point.
You're trying to say the absence of something not being pictured that's never been pictured is a point.
You can take a picture of the effect, right? That these electrons have on the background. I mean, that's how the well, anyways, you don't have to literally see it. You can see the effect.
So cool, join the panel.
You can see the effect. Hold on. That was a pretty wild statement. You can see the effects of the electron or the proton, but you can't see the proton or electron itself. Is that
No,
what you're
proton
saying?
you can. Wait, 1 second. Bro, you're saying a lot of things, right? You can see a proton, right? You can't see an electron. Let me
You can
explain
see a
how it works,
proton.
right?
Hold on. You're saying you can see a proton. Is that what you're saying?
Hang on, please. Try to understand English, right? I'm speaking basic form, right? You cannot see an electron because the instruments that we use are electromagnetic, meaning you can't see something that you're trying to see that is either smaller or the same size of the instrument.
Sure. But what can we see?
I'm explaining that, right? You can see a proton. You can see atoms. Those things are visible.
We can see protons and atoms. Can you please give me a link of a single proton or atom that we've been able to document? Go ahead and throw it in the back chat.
I can show you a cluster of atoms, right, and protons if you want right now. Yes.
No, dude, you're just fucking making shit up. You don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead and throw the link in so I can go and look it up.
Hey, how many actual pictures are there of space? And
put it in the back chat. I'll go ahead and look it up and prove you're right. Go ahead.
Hey, look at the cover of the Tao of Physics. That is the explosion as it happens. That's what's on the cover of it.
Hey, Joe,
Well,
do you
hold
know
on.
what
He
the
needs to be
particle
called out.
collider is?
He's fucking wrong.
Do you know what the particle collider is trying to do? You know what the
Wait,
goal
what
is?
was that book? Tao of Physics? Is that what you said?
The goal of the Hadron Collider is
Yeah, I know what
to
Tao is.
try to find some
Yeah.
type of escaping particle.
Did you read the Tao of Pooh?
They're trying to recreate
the Big Bang.
They're trying to recreate the Big Bang.
Yeah, the Big Bang is a fucking farce. They're
I
never
know, but
gonna
I'm just
get it.
saying that's. I'm not saying I believe it or not. Their mission is they're trying to create the Big Bang, recreate.
No,
it.
I disagree there too, because the Big Bang is
No, that's literally what it says on their page. That's
it's
literally
shouldered
what it
on a density argument where you can shoot fucking shit at each other, and then you create some type of super density, and then
That's their mission. I don't agree with it. That's their mission. They want to create the Big Bang.
The brother asked for a picture, right? I shown you an atom. This is not new, right? It's there. That's just a high.
All right, I'm looking at it.
There's never been a picture of an atom. If you're watching anything, you're looking at a CGI.
Are we talking religious, Adam?
One second. I used to work in a lab as a scanning electron microscopy, right? X-rays and all those stuff. I used to literally image atoms.
And you never saw an atom.
But I did. That's the point.
Oh my goodness. I know the electron microscopes. I know the ones that are recent ones. There's never, and then you'll go right in there. Have you ever seen a picture of an item? Look it up right now. I guarantee it tells you no.
Item? What the hell's an item?
Atom.
ADAM.
There you go.
All atom is short for autonomous, which is that which can't be reduced any smaller.
What do you mean? They got smaller. What do you think?
This is
insane.
Bro, listen, hold on. Just to do a quick refute, I'm not done reading, but it does say the beam moves infinitesimally as electrons are fired. So just that alone is a little wild, but
what? Oh my God, I'm done.
But there are many pictures of atoms, though, right? And there are
That
no
is
pictures
a picture of the stars or space.
No, there's no pictures of an atom.
no, it's a descriptor of the technology and how it works. They're saying it moves.
This clip
the beam
intermission
from the
brought to you by
electron
Christianity.
microscope moves.
Thank you, Jesus.
So if I Google picture of an atom, you tell me I'll find none?
You'll find many of them. So some are real, some are fake, but I've shown one here that's real. Yes, obviously.
I thought so. Too,
Let me explain how this works again, right? Because you guys seem to not understand basic logic,
How can you
right?
tell the difference between the fake ones and the real ones?
Mike, you can't.
Well, you can't tell them if it's fake. What you do is you go look at the person that produced it with the machine that they used. You have to go there or read peer-reviewed research papers from those.
and
people.
if you read it, they
When you
usually
publish-
tell you this is a simulation, this is a real photo.
Right.
No one
That's
reads
Let
that
me
shit.
let me ask this physicist a question. How do you make a electron microscope slide?
Wait, how do you do what?
How do you make
Electric
it-
slide.
How do you? I like your humor. How do you make an electron microscope slide? What's the process?
When you say the slide, you mean the thing that you put your sample on top?
Yes.
Well, it depends on the material, right? If it's a metallic material, you just stick a metal on top of it. If it's something that's not so conductive, like nanoparticles, first you have to actually encapsulate them with some conductive ingredients around it, bind it all across the stage so that obviously it's linked. It has to be electrically active. If it's not, you're not going to see much. Well, yeah, you're not going to see much. You're going to get into good resolutions and stuff. That's
resolution. It's always in black and white, and it's always electrified. Always.
Oh.
It's never. You can never see color. It's all black and white under electronic microscope. Anything to add color to it is when men add color to it.
What about this
Right.
Empire? Is the screen or the what you're reading off of? Is it a computer screen or is it a piece of crystal that's shaped in a microscopic process?
Wait. You're saying a lot of stuff, right? This obviously the screen is a screen, right? But you have
No,
cameras.
so in a conventional microscope, you're actually looking through pieces of bent glass.
Yeah, that's called light microscope. Yeah, because you use
He's
light.
talking electron
This one is
microscope.
electron,
Exactly.
right?
Yes, exactly. So when you're looking through an electron, what are you looking through?
What? Looking through what?
Electron.
What are you? What? You're not looking
All right.
through an electron. You're looking
Why
at
doesn't
the
Jake have any
the
popcorn?
electrons. You're looking at the
I want to
effect
hear
of
from
electrons.
Sean G. Welcome, Sean G. I think this is your first time up here. You had a comment in the chat. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I liked the fuck out of it.
Yeah. What's up? How you doing? First time, yeah. I just found your channel today.
Oh, right
enjoying
on.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, on the religion aspect of it, that's what we were talking about when I made that comment. As far as I've always looked at it, I don't actually know if there is a God or not, but it seems like a really good, easy way to formulate answers and a way to live without having to figure it out for yourself. It's kind of like a owner's guide to living.
That's dope,
Where
guy. That's dope.
and that's just kind of how I looked at it. It's good for some. Some take it too far, but you can look at that at almost any situation, really. That you have extremists and people that use it for good and use it for the bad of it.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah, I like that new guy. Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
Am
How
I
you
the
doing?
only atheist on panel that actually supports the idea of religion?
I'm an atheist.
An atheist
I believe
supports
in
the
religion.
idea of religion.
I
I'm
mean,
not sure
I
what he's
support
talking
Yeah,
about.
no, nobody is, because Josh doesn't make sense. He's an atheist and a Christian nationalist.
What? That's confusing.
Well, no, see, you can separate the faith part and then apply the utility for it, right? So you guys have mentioned it already several times over. It's a really good tool to handle, you could say manipulate people, right? Like it works really well. So imagine you don't like this particular society that we live in, and you just say, you know what, fuck it. Maybe we start stoning people. We might end up with a
Yeah,
better
I'm with Flo. Now you're just talking nonsense.
Well,
Are you talking biblical sense of stone or weed?
Well, technically biblical, but we wouldn't do stoning in modern day. We would just still like bring back the electric chair.
You was explaining about how you were a believe in God, but you're an atheist or something along those lines, and now you're stoning some chick.
So incoherent that it's barely comprehensible.
Damn. So Christian nationalism is actually a political movement. Pretty big one too, actually.
Is it kind of like the what's it called?
Wait,
it's a satanic religion, but it's not a it's not a Satan thing. It's a political thing as well. Is it kind of like that?
It just means Christians who believe the country should be founded on Christian values. There's a
Correct.
simplified.
With the exception of myself, because I lack faith.
But then you're not Christian then at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not laying claim to being Christian. I'm laying claim to the political movement.
So then you're an
What the
atheist
fuck?
nationalist.
Bro,
So you're an atheist nationalist. Then.
He wants it.
What is an I don't know what an you'd just be a nationalist, I guess. Then, but
Yeah,
like
that's what you got.
Christian
Because
nationalism.
you're labeling yourself.
describes-
Hang on, but you're labeling yourself. So I'm just trying to like kind of read it out of my brain.
I didn't
and what it
label
sounds
the.
like.
Yeah, no,
it's
I
like
didn't
you're saying-
label the political movement. I just joined it.
So yeah, but
This is
so
why
you're
freedom
a na-
sucks.
so you're a nationalist. So let's keep it real.
You are
You're a
funny.
nationalist, right?
Yes.
Okay. You added Christianity in front of it to make it sound nicer.
No, because it absolutely actually is an attempt to take like
What the
basically
fuck?
biblical principles and make them laws.
Christian
No,
nationalism is a real
Christian. Yeah, Christian.
I've
the Christian
never met
nationalist
an
is someone.
atheist Christian nationalist. This
It's
is
not
a miracle.
He's not a Christian
There
nationalist. He has
actually
no
are
faith.
there actually are
This
several
is
of us.
fucking hilarious.
No, again, a Christian nationalist that doesn't have faith is a nationalist. A nationalist that says he's a Christian nationalist is just covering up the fact that it's like putting potpourri on shit.
Hey, Flo, when you get a chance, I need
smell
to
like
ask
shit
the
or
lady a
potpourri?
question. I'll be
Okay.
quiet so I can ask the lady a question.
Go for it.
My mom is one of the biggest Biden supporters in the fucking United States, but
guess
she'll
not.
take a Christian nationalist
I'm
country over Biden any fucking day. We're all Christian nationalists. Everybody wants it in this country.
Let's let Harm.
We all
ask
want
this
it.
question,
Even
bro.
Flo. Even Flo
Potpourri
not here.
shit.
He wants it too.
Yeah. Jake, where's your popcorn?
Waiting for it to finish. It's in the microwave.
Yeah, I saw Flo got some spaghetti. I'm like really feeling bad for you, bro. You don't have any popcorn for the shit show.
Dude, yeah, I know, right?
Fuck popcorn, crunch berries. I'm telling you.
Hey, Joe, what's the lady's name?
Oh, I don't know. You was gonna ask some lady. I don't even know who you were talking to.
Well, there's only one on here.
That was borscht, not spaghetti.
I don't know her name.
Borscht. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
I love Katie. She's so cool. Big heart to you too. We're on at the same time. This is a miracle.
Oh,
And
yeah,
we're
this is
talking about religion.
I don't know how to say it. Esma?
Probably why I haven't jumped on.
Ahimsa, I think. So
Alexander.
Ahimsa.
Ahimsa.
It means
Some-
non-injury, non-violence.
I think the doctor
Tried to be
did
that
it
way.
when you when they were doing the birth certificate, and they asked your dad what's the name going to be, and he goes, Himsa. And so they put the Ahimsa in there. No, I was just joking. So I left you a link.
Yeah, I know you're
in the-
joking. It's not my real name. I love Joe Cool. He's on here. Yay! And Katie. Great night. And
Anyway,
Shay too.
Alexander, I left you a link in the chat, in the private chat, to
awesome.
look at about
For what?
the mushrooms and Santa Claus.
Oh, it wasn't for the Christian nationalist atheists?
No, I can't find a video on that. But anyway, there's several of the videos. I just picked that one. There's lots of them.
Makes sense. Yeah, I remember now.
Thank you.
Okay, and the mushroom's called the mascara, Adam mascara, or something like that. You guys never heard of it?
Anonymous mascara. Yeah.
Yeah, Adamannia mascara.
You want your spot back?
That's where the red and white comes from in the packages and everything.
Yeah.
So they eat the
that's actually
mushrooms and put on mascara?
Okay.
No,
so
honestly, there were shamans who
actually-
go around to the people and they would administer the mushrooms to them, like people do with ayahuasca in South America and stuff. It's the same
you
thing.
gotta
John, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's a true story. So what it is when you cure mushrooms, right? You got to dry them out. That would be the significance of stockings. The idea of, and this is where like the story comes from. The flying reindeer, the magic of Santa. What would happen is these tribal back in the day, they would basically follow. Yes, no. This would be like the villagers and stuff. This is how this came about.
Right.
It would actually follow the herding deer, and they would hunt them and everything. And they would actually eat the deer piss. When they would do this, because the deer were actually able to eat the mushrooms without any effect.
Yeah.
It would be like a down version of it. What do you call it?
Yeah, that was just
Make it
getting
less
high from eating the
potent.
meat. You're talking about the tribesmen. Yeah. And then
Yes.
the shaman were the ones who administered it to people. Yes.
Yes,
Totally different.
and once they started doing that, then the whole process of curing it, growing it under pine trees, all that kind of stuff, presents, the whole nine. It's just like a symbolic thing mainly.
We get the wet mushrooms.
So they were all like on a bad mushroom trip. Is that what you're saying?
No, they love
I'd say a good one. It'd be a great one.
Or a good one
People
if
say
they're
that's
having
the
like
best.
flying reindeer, right?
Well, they
Okay.
felt like they're flying. And reindeer down there, they still today, in the wintertime, they're
still fly?
Well, they think they do. Because they dig for those mushrooms all year round, and they somehow, however they grow, I don't know, in the wintertime, but they eat them. So anyway, it's about a 30-minute
hilarious.
video. You'll like the video, I'm sure.
Oh,
Cool,
the idea
thank you.
the reason it grows in
Awesome.
the winter would be because it grows under a pine, and places that get like 3-4 feet of snow, it doesn't really much happen. But if it gets little layers of snow, if you look under pine trees, usually there's no snow there. It's breeding ground for mushrooms.
Yeah, that's where I watched the deer using their hooves digging at it. Get it?
Yeah, it's
They
actual,
love that.
it's an actual story. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy cool.
You'll like it. You'll really like it.
It's like a story out of Norway. I think it is. Pretty sure it was Norway.
They say, oh, he left you a present.
I was reading. It's from Norway, Northern Europe, and Asia.
Yep.
It goes all that area.
Evergreen tree, pine trees.
Yeah, I think that, and then like the religious side of everything kind of merged, and that's what the Christmas we know now is. But yeah,
It's the presence under the tree.
Yep.
That's what I know.
That's really trippy.
But Santa Claus never was a good guy until, like I say, until Macy's got a hold of him and did all that stuff and commercialized it.
Just put that all together.
Yeah, wasn't he like the Grinch? Really, like in the
He was
original
like
stories.
Krampus. They made a few horror movies about it. You know, if you believe it or not, during those bad Santas and stuff like that.
This was a mushroom.
They were making.
Katie,
they were bad people.
Have you heard of the story of like Santa Claus and the mushrooms? Have you heard this before?
Is that what I just heard?
That's what you just heard.
Yeah, she just
That's what I just heard.
Just type in Christmas mushroom while you're sitting there on your computer and look at it.
Jake
Actually,
just explained it to me.
Just Christmas mushroom.
Yeah, I just put in the link in the side chat.
All my friends, they've taken it. They say that's the best mushrooms ever.
Joe Cool
It is
disappeared. I
a
was going to ask
very
him.
potent one.
Wait, what? Where'd Joe Cool go?
I don't know.
I don't.
He got raptured.
I don't see him. What? You want your
Oh,
spot back
shit.
now? Bye.
Bye, Katie.
Let's
He
see.
got
Sometimes
raptured.
no, he got raptured. Sometimes Joe Cool's phone cycles through and he bounces down, but that is not the case. He raptured. Whatever happened when I was gone, it's probably because I was gone.
Have you
I'm
ever
sorry,
heard
Joe
of
Cool.
that movie Left Behind?
Yeah. I
Funny
never
story.
saw it, but
It's about the rapture.
yeah, Katie's all
I-
about that shit.
I watched it with my ex, and I had to take a potty break in the middle of the movie. And one of the funniest things ever was coming back into the living room, and that man had taken off his clothes, put him on the couch, and he was hiding like in the corridor, laughing his ass off.
Wait.
Were you into the movie enough that you thought something happened? Or you
Yeah,
knew-
he was trying to prank me. That was like the most epic prank. Yeah, that was good. He just left his clothes on the couch, was in our corridor laughing his ass off.
I just think it was another way to get naked, an excuse to get naked with you.
Nah, it's just funny. It was funny.
She used to think that she'd come out of the bathroom one day, or come in the bathroom, and I'd be disappeared. My razor would just be laying on the counter still.
I never thought about that. Wait,
You're the only reason. I've never seen the movies nor read the books. You're the only reason I know about
why
this character.
do you think that I would think that
'Cause-
you're gonna disappear?
Oh wait, I guess. It'd be the other way.
Good one, Katie.
I read half of that series.
You read it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That
It's like-
sounds like a horror flick.
Big brains.
The reading it's a lot better than watching it since it's a Christian movie, so it's like rated.
Yeah.
Do you know who produced it?
Jesus.
Kirk Cameron.
I don't know. Was it
The
Kirk
Obamas.
Cameron? Who?
The Obamas.
Left Behind?
The Obama. Yeah, the ones with
Michael?
Julie Robertson.
Oh
Ju-
wait.
Julie Roberts is in it.
No. Wait, what are we talking
Isn't
about?
Left Behind on Netflix? It was Left Behind.
No,
No?
that's World crap.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about like the Civil War thing or something.
No.
Oh, whatever. It was a weird thing where they said they didn't like white people and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's not the Left Behind series. The Left Behind series is a series of books that was real big in like Christendom, and it got made into some movies and stuff.
So they're the ones that were left behind after the rapture.
Yeah. It's about the
Wow.
Revelations, or the book of the Revelations in the Bible.
Hey,
And
how are
we're
you
talking
enjoying Mindhunter? Have you
Huh?
finished reading Mindhunter?
No, I haven't. I need to-
The series was awesome. That was a great recommendation. I'm just like so
it is
into it.
great. I am so sad that they're not making anymore.
Me too.
Is
Who's
Mindhunter
your
the,
favorite
the, The series, right, about serial
You
killers
just
and
asked
stuff.
serial killer.
No, I didn't.
No, I think she just asked me my favorite serial killer. Is that what you asked me?
Yes, I did.
He's the only one that asked me that.
I know that chicks dig serial killers. I don't care what the fuck you all say. It's fact. Chicks love violence and murder.
That was a big debate the other day when someone said they asked somebody what their favorite serial killer is, and they said, "What a sick question."
It is a
Anyway,
sick question.
It's a
But
very sick question.
Mindhunter's
Who
about.
do you think is
It
the
is.
worst serial killer? That's what you should say.
I just have an attachment to Charles Manson because my stepdad gave me Helter Skelter when I was like 13 to read.
I talked to Charles Manson.
In the book Mindhunter, they go a little
She
bit
laughed at me, Flo.
She did laugh
more
at you.
into
Nobody gives a fuck about the book. We want to hear Harmon talk about.
the interrogation. Shut up. The interrogation was better than the show made it.
Yeah, Harmon was a prison guard and he guarded Manson.
What?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I told you nobody cared about your book.
That's fucking crazy.
How was
Yep.
he? How was he?
5'2".
Smaller than you think, but
that's what got me the most is how little he was. And then he very calm. And, he wasn't like you see him when Geraldo took him out and stuff like that because they poke him. You got to remember he's in a cell, doesn't have any human contact with nobody. The only time he has human contact is not even to maybe when we cuff him up and he has to go to the yard, but then he's alone by doing that. And so the only time he's there, like maybe when they did those TV interviews, maybe he touched somebody, a guard or something, cuffed him up. But he never had human contact. But he was calm. And the most thing he'd always worry about, he said, first, he says, the government's going to make it where it's whitey against blackie. He says, you watch, it's going to be racial war. They're going to keep pushing it. And the second thing he was worried about was that they're destroying the rainforest and it's going to destroy the earth. And that's about the highlight he'd always talk about.
Okay, where were you prison guard at?
Corcoran.
Is that where he was in prison at?
Well, yes.
Wasn't he also? He was also in prison with Edmund Kemper, at least at one point in time. Did you meet him?
Who?
Ooh,
Edmund
that guy's
Kemper.
freaky.
Is that big guy, 6'7"
Yeah,
guy?
he's huge, really smart.
He wasn't at Corcoran.
Damn.
He wasn't at Corcoran. Sirhan, we think was there, but they wouldn't let us know. We had 4 inmates. Now it might have been Kemper. I don't know because there's 4 inmates that we didn't get to know their names. It was just their numbers. And if you weren't in their area, which is sectioned off, you weren't allowed to go in this area where there were these 4 inmates that were just known by numbers. So I don't know why they did that. It's the weirdest thing I ever seen in all the years.
Did you ever figure it out?
No, never could figure it out. I thought Sirhan won. I thought. I was thinking. But that's
Didn't you
it.
just ask their names?
Pardon me? No, I couldn't. I didn't get to go to their area. Well, even guards weren't. There's only certain guards that got to go to that area. You know, normally you could go to records and pull files and do like that. Yeah, they let you know what, even as guards, they only let you know what they want you to know. So, you know, that's
The
that was
question
it.
is Ed Kemper who cut off his mother's head and buried it in the garden?
No.
No. He was killing girls.
He killed. Okay, first he killed his grandparents when he was younger. And then
15,
he killed, I think, 4 like co-eds because he's called the co-ed killer. And then he killed his mom, chopped off her head, and humiliated her throat.
With his penis?
Yeah.
He was the guy at 6'9", right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
He was in that one Mind Game, the one they were looking. He played that part in there. In that
Mindhunter.
Mindhunter, yeah. I thought that actor was
And
good.
this is her favorite, a dude that decapitates his mom and then fucks her throat.
And puts it in the garbage disposal. He put her thorax in the garbage disposal. Yeah.
Damn, that
So
must
she
be
would
a
never.
big garbage disposal or a small woman.
I'll tell you the worst story I heard. I'll tell you the worst story I heard was this guy, Freeway Killer, I think it was called. Him and his wife were killing girls.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh my God.
And so they were killing them. And so this is what they did. This is so crazy. The only reason he got caught because his wife got jealous and turned him in. They would have never been caught. So they would get the girl, and they coax her in somehow into the car, and they take her out there, and they would kill her. But he liked to have sex while he's killing her. So he and if they didn't die,
Doesn't everybody?
So when she wouldn't die, like one of them, he'd always name them, and he named one Water Spigot because she wouldn't die. So he took her, and with her holding her on the hood ornament, he was pounding her up inside down that, violating her, and it blood rushed her with her spleen. So he called her that. So the worst part was then they decapitate the body right there, throw the body off into the side of the road, take the head home. Now his wife's a beautician, and she's working as a beautician in San Diego this whole time. And so she would take it, give it a facial, fix it up, give it everything, put it in a hat box, put it in the freezer, so that when he got the urge, he'd take the head out and take it into the shower and do it in its mouth and stuff. And
That is nasty.
no, it gets bad. They don't. A lot of times they say they don't tell the public all the main details because
No shit. Yeah.
they can't handle it. And so
No
then,
doubt. Yeah.
and so then she, I can't remember why she got jealous. I used to know. It's been 30 years now, but when she got jealous over maybe a dead girl, or it might have been a live girl. I can't remember. They're so freaky weird. Anyway, that's the worst one I see. But the worst, I'll tell you one more story. If you want to hear one more. The worst one I ever felt, you know how they say you could feel people, like you feel evil and stuff like that? I never really believed that. Oh my gosh. There's this one guy. It got so many pedophiles and rapists in the prison system. They used to keep them isolated, but we got so overrun. Our whole prison was pedophile and rapists. It was 4,000 people, and they were all that. So they let them go on yard. So they never could get out of their cells for years because they were walk alone status. And so they'd walk 6 paces and stop, walk 6 paces and stop, back and forth, like they're in the cell for years. When they got released onto the yard, so we're on the yard and we're watching them all get released. These guys that haven't been out in the open for some of them 20 years, so they're walking, and this one guy just walks 6 paces, stops, walks 6 paces and stops. He has to take 6 and he'll stop. And he's walking by us, and all of a sudden I felt, whoa, it just got chills. And so I never really bothered to go look what these people did, but I went and looked what he did. He was a guy, and he was only like maybe 5'4". He would go to Vegas, pick up whatever girl he could get picked up, probably prostitutes, brought them over to the Lancaster area. If you guys know where Lancaster, California is, it's over the hills from LA going up the mountains. And he would do whatever, kill them, and then go back and have sex with them for days and days, until that. But anyway, he got caught. He was the most evil feeling person I've ever seen all that years I was in. I mean, he was just evil.
What was his name? What?
I can't even remember his name. He didn't even get famous. He wasn't even infamous, as we call it. Yeah, his story wasn't put out there. I don't know why, but it just wasn't. Yeah, it's wild. He's a little bitty guy too. How these little 5'4" guys overpower him? It's wild. Probably
They hide in a birthday cake.
Oh.
Yeah.
The most disturbing story. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say Ed Gein was weird, and so is Albert Fish.
I liked Ed Gein. I liked Ed Gein so much. Well, I don't like him, but the movie made you, the character in the movie made you like him. The character in the movie made you like him. The weird little fucker. But you like that 6'9". Who do you dislike the most, Miss Flo? Who do you think's the worst? As that's how we should say it.
I'd say Ted Bundy, because he was actually hot.
Who?
Ted Bundy was actually fairly good looking, so that was kind of sucky.
He's shorter than what I thought.
They're all sort of seems like. Almost
he
all
just
of
seems
them.
like someone that would be like 6 foot, something like 6'2".
Yeah, I thought he was taller too.
He's a little bit under 6 foot. I remember being a bit surprised when I looked up his height.
What's the biggest conspiracy one that you know? I think John Wayne Gacy. I think he was politically connected. I think he was running boys for the politicians who do the sex trafficking that they do. Not all
You're
of them. The
probably
ones
right.
I think he was connected to that. You know, he was also he was named by Rosalynn Carter as the Clown of America. Did you guys know
Wow.
that? Yeah,
No.
that's how
He's right under
popular he got.
something.
Pardon me?
I don't think that your boy Charles Manson. I think he was a patsy. I think that he was.
Yeah.
I think he was Michelob Ultra as well.
I think he
Yeah,
might
he
have
tried
been
out for the
MK Ultra.
monkeys first. Yeah, I thought so too.
I wish I
Doesn't
had this
seem
knowledge
real.
and could talk to him now. You know what? God, I just wish. You know. And back then I was a young CO thinking, no, I can't talk to this guy because he's a bad guy. You know, you're brainwashed so much. Man, at least I went up there and talked to him. He talked to me for a little bit, so I felt. Is it weird to say I felt privileged? I don't know. I said I'm not going to not.
One of the
be here
guys I
tonight.
was in jail with was a member of the official Charles Manson fan club, which I found extra cringy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that part is he never accepted
It's
any
very
letters.
cringy.
That's one thing unique about Charles Manson as a lifer. All the lifers, they had newspapers and all this stuff inside their cells. Charles Manson was super clean. He had like 2 sheets, mattress, and he would only keep like 2 days of newspapers. And he
by
just get
cho-
newspapers.
by his own
Yeah.
choice. It's not
Yeah,
because he
by
was
his own
restricted.
choice.
or anything.
Yeah, he didn't want all that bullshit. He would never accept any of this mail and stuff. And there was always rumors about his guitar in prison and all this stuff. People always asked me back in the day, "What about his guitar?" I said, "He doesn't have a guitar in prison. Those strings are weapons, dude." And in that section of the prison, which is a prison inside of a prison, the size of your thumbnail is if you have something bigger than that, that's considered a weapon, because they'll take that. And when they go to the yard, not Charles Manson, he keeps walking on, but the other ones, the game bangers are in there. They'll take something the size of your thumbnail that's got a little edge on it, and they'll sit there and just start cutting the guy's throat with it. That little. And it's not they're doing it because they want to. They're ordered to. When you're in the gang and you're in the high level security, you got to do what you're told. And that's it.
What do you mean? There's like gangs that serial killers belong to in prison?
No. Charles Manson was the walk alone. I'm talking about the gangs that
Oh,
were in the
okay,
same area.
gotcha.
Yeah, he was a walk alone status. But you have to give the inmates an hour of yard every day. That's so
Have
weird.
you ever heard
I know.
his
That's
music?
more than we got in jail. We got 0 yard time ever.
I know. I couldn't believe that,
24/7
Flo.
lockdown.
That's wild, Flo. And those lights and everything, that's pure torture. I don't know how they get away with that, what you told me. But in the high security area, and then Corcoran, it's called the SHU unit, Security Housing Unit. That's where your highest degree level inmates were at the time. Then they moved it to, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, so yeah, those inmates would go to the yard, and if they're told you're going to fight that guy, how you do it, you're going to fight them, and they have to. If not, they can never come out of their cell again. That's how strict they are with their own code. I mean, it's not a joke. There was an inmate when I worked level 3. It was my porter, and he would be cleaning and all stuff. We talked all the time, just whatever. And then I got moved over to where Charles Manson was, and he hadn't gotten a gang fight on the yard, so he got moved to the higher security. And it's called a SHU term. They'd get 6 months, 3 months, whatever. You were in the hole, as you guys would recognize it, but it's not a hole. It's just another prison part. And I go to talk to him. He goes, "Hey, Watt, I can't talk to you here. It's totally different." And he knew I didn't know because I only been in a couple of years. And he says, we can't talk here. And so he let me know. That's cool of him.
Rodney Alcala, known as the dating game killer, had an estimated IQ of 170. Alcala was known for being the winning contestant on a 1978 episode of The Dating Game.
That's
Really?
hilarious. Well, Charles Manson tried out for the monkeys. Hey, we're the monkeys. People
No, I
say
didn't
we
know that.
monkey around.
I know which one I
Yeah.
hate the most now.
Which
I
one?
remember it, the Night Stalker.
The Night.
Yeah, David Ramirez.
Which one is that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
David
David Ramirez. Yeah.
He looked like the devil. I mean, he looked evil.
I know which one I hate the most was the Zodiac killer. because I read serial killer books all in my teens until I was like 18, 19, and I read that one and finished it at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't sleep, and it was horrible. And after that, I never read about any more serial killers. That one was scary because they never caught him. Did they ever catch him?
No,
Who's
they never
that?
did.
Which
The
one?
Zodiac killer?
No, no. As far as I know, they
Jack
didn't.
the Ripper, they never caught.
No, they never caught Jack the Ripper either.
Oh,
You
that was
guys
their
have
first
some
one.
really fucked up obsession.
Who's the guy who had the hotel of like horrors? The
Oh,
H.H.
Holmes. H.H. Holmes. That dude's interesting. I'm not gonna lie. That dude was interesting.
The Max. How about Max? Max, the Revlon or Max or something? The Revlon guy. You know, his family owned Revlon, the makeup company.
No shit.
Oh, you didn't hear about him?
That's crazy. So a Revlon guy was a serial killer while Charles
Yes.
Manson killed the Maxwell House heir or Folgers coffee lady. Didn't
Yeah.
Abigail Folgers? Yeah.
I didn't know
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, but is it Revlon or Maxwell? One of the two. But yeah, he was in California. He was drugging them, date raping them, and killing them. He had done tons of them. They even made a movie of it.
Josh, who's your favorite serial killer?
Did Josh? Oh no, who was?
All of the dead ones.
Great answer.
I don't know, but I have to end in just a minute.
All
So
right,
I
I'll
have
let
to-
you go. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you, thank you.
And copy that link, Alexander, or whatever your name is. Is she still here?
No, she just dropped out.
I hope she gets that link. All right, then. Bye.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming up and for the stories.
All right.
I
Josh,
get
any
the
final thoughts?
well, I get the prison guard, right? Like I get why the interest within serial killers. I don't get why everybody else has like a weird obsession with serial killers.
I don't get it either. I mean, like, I kind of get it, but I don't really. It's not my thing, I guess. I don't know. I also don't like horror movies. I find them tacky and unbelievable.
At least horror movies have like the zing of fantasy or something to go with it, right? But the idea that somebody would be obsessed with, is it because that they're so like abnormal or rare within society?
I can't explain this. I don't know. Katie said that they're sexy.
What?
I'm just kidding. She said they're an interesting breed. I don't know. It's probably something to do with, you know, like people are attracted to danger or that would, you know, in a weird way.
Okay, I guess. Because like
I mean, really, this is probably it right here. It's the same reason why chicks like jerks and bad boys. Honestly, that probably has more truth to it than false.
yeah, but wouldn't like a bad boy be like the most mild version? Like when you
Yeah, I
step it
mean,
up a serial
they're
killer.
not really the same thing, but you could see how it would be an extension of that same instinct.
So people really want. Oh my god, it's like death wish tourism. I see a little bit of that. It doesn't make any
Okay.
sense to me.
And you probably don't know this because you're basically a virgin who's married. But how many chicks like to be hit or choked during sex?
A small percentage.
It's
Of
bigger
course-
than you think.
Well, the only information that I would have to go off of would be like Visa. So like credit card purchases for some really disturbing sex toys.
And women, I heard somewhere, actually are more inclined towards like GB, like, you know, violent prawn.
Like
gang things and S&M and stuff like the.
Well, gangbang is just multiple dicks. The BDSM part, okay, that's a little bit more like the violent concept.
You don't think that multiple dicks, there's something inherently violent about it?
I don't know. I don't focus so much on sexual stuff. I actually try to like avoid people that are into it too much. Like I just like, yeah, you can stay over there. I disassociate like with a lot of weird stuff. I just say, you know what, fuck it. That person needs to stay.
Look at the gangbang.
What do you mean? Look at the gangbang. What the fuck?
Think
I didn't know
about
if you
it.
were talking to me or the chat, right? I started to get scared. Like, wait, what? I don't. There's some obsessions don't really make sense to me. I mean, I guess like that's like the idea of like preference. If somebody's like into a certain color versus another color, I get it. I just some of it's really oddballish to me. People got weird fucking fetishes, like really weird fetishes.
Yep. Oh yeah. I'm not kinky. You know, nothing will make me realize how not kinky I am, like the genre list on a porn site, or like any adult store, right? It's like, what is all this fucking shit?
Strangely,
suck the sushi off this stick.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I fucking hate your clips, right? Like, they always got to come in at the worst timing. What a dick. So strange. You know, strangely enough, I haven't been in it. I'm 40 now. I haven't been in I think the last time I was actually inside of a sex shop was like, I think I was 23 or 24, something like that. Yeah. I'm going to stick with my vanilla shit, right? I just think people are weird, like really fucking weird. I need to work on my association, start cleaning up shop a little bit.
Get rid of some of the degenerates that you hang out with.
Yeah, apparently there might be more than I think. Damn. So, question. How about you with the idea of like the idea of religion being to separate man from God?
I think that people who are in tune with God or themselves or whatever, who have an internal locus of control, are harder to control, and religion explicitly externalizes people's locus of control. It also all the spiritual or God questions people have, like, well, anything about it, it concludes that. It provides something and says, here, this is the answer to all your questions, when really what you end up with is a bunch of brain fuckery and rules and tithing.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would say I think that if you look at it from a psychological perspective, which I tend to,
I'm forced.
I think religion serves two very fundamental purposes in controlling people. One is it externalizes the locus of control, so we're always looking for an external savior. It's never us. It disempowers the individual, which is exactly what you would want in a managed population. The other thing it does is it trains people from a very early age to accept things as fact, even though it conflicts with your own personal experience or is internally self-contradicting, like three gods or one God in a trinity, right? Like these two concepts don't math. But if you can train a person to accept that there's one God in three different beings, or that a virgin gave birth to God, who's also man, if you can get people to accept these things from an early age, you can get them to accept anything.
Damn, that's actually not a bad take, to be honest with you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's actually not a bad take. To chew on that for a little while. I mean, you know, again, on the authoritarian side, I'm a big fan of religion, but that's like the idea.
That proves exactly my point.
Yeah, that's the thing that you would use it for, is to manipulate society. I don't mind the aspect of it. I just, from an individual perspective, I don't understand like why people are. Again, I usually.
And Gary brings up a great point, like if you look at the imagery, and I'm picking on Christianity because I'm most familiar with it, but if you look at the imagery, the symbolism, the rituals, none of it is pro-human. All of it is brutal.
Well, yeah.
And violent. So, you know, if if an alien spaceship lands and they land on a Catholic church and they just look around the place, they're gonna go, "What kind of fucking sick ass death cult is this?" And it'd be hard to say that they're wrong.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of basis his point. I'm not a big fan of him, but goddamn, he had 2 points that were valid questions. Actually, kind of pissed me off that people wouldn't associate or like dance around it. Damn, I don't know. Every once in a while, there's a damn good question out there that makes you think.
So I am about to shut down, but I hear tragic news. Old Joe is about to take a little hiatus from the Panelverse. If you've got any final thoughts, Joe, the link is there. What?
Old Joe wants to see a baby.
Okay.
How's that?
What is? It's a
One
hummingbird.
of my paintings. Yeah, it's a hummingbird.
Yeah, I'm less interested. I mean, cool paintings. I don't have an artistic bone in my body, so I can't really relate. Your obsession with serial killers, that's a lot more that's a lot more curious. I don't know if I want to go as far as interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If it weren't for that interest in serial killers, you probably never would have been into me in the first place.
I realize I don't know
I'm
you
just
well.
kidding, cop.
It's just like, I'm like, you don't really seem to strike me as the type, but then again, I guess like from the concept of a serial killer, nobody ever really does. So, what's up, Joe?
Hello, everybody. How are things?
Floor is yours.
Same shit, new night.
There you go.
So what are you doing?
It appears as though, Flo, there are things that can even make a dent in old Joe. So it looks as though I might need a couple months at least to deal with some things. But I don't think that the contribution of the Panelverse should go on unacknowledged. And I find myself wondering about the commonality between us that find ourselves here at 2, 3 in the morning. And if there is something about the conversations, and no matter how wacky they get, that those of us that find ourselves here find endearing. Am I making myself clear? Do you understand what I'm saying? It seems as though
think so. I wouldn't want to try to steel man you, but I think that I get what you're throwing.
I wonder why we all come here to do this. You know, some of the conversations are insane, and yet we all seem to enjoy them, you know?
I think, I mean, do you have a speculation or just the curiosity? Because I guess I never thought about it, because it just seems like people are social, and what's interesting to me is likely to be interesting to you for whatever evolutionary psychological reason it is.
My speculation is that most of us who come here together are in some way don't fit into the standard crowd. That's my speculation. I
would think that's accurate. I mean, I know that I've never been able to get myself to join a damn thing, so it would make sense to me that I would attract like minds.
I think if I had to guess, if I had to throw a guess out there, I don't think we have individual traits in common, because it seems like there's such a breadth of personalities. I mean, look at Joe Cool, man. He's one of my favorite personalities out there. And what does he hold in common with somebody like Chuck? I mean, really, what can you find in common with those two guys? But they find commonality here. And I think the commonality is that they're both outliers. Their uniqueness is what they hold in common, in my opinion.
I think so. That seems like from the hip, that sounds like an accurate observation.
And then the reason that I would not just fade away and would say, okay, I'm going to be stepping back for a couple months, is because the value of that holds something. It means something. We're all coming back here because we get something, and that has to be acknowledged. It's not just entertainment. It's not just, a way to waste time. I believe people find friendship here. You put up a thumbnail that Based and Andrew Wilson were actually in a love affair. Was that what you implied?
Yes.
Do you think in some small way that might actually be true, that they find some commonality with one another that they can't get standing in the line at Walmart or at pickleball or wherever else they might find themselves?
Yeah, I do. Great question. And I don't think it's exclusive to them. I think I think that there's an element of it in every adversarial dynamic on the panelverse, because it's my belief that humans need conflict and struggle.
Yes.
And that our enemies or our haters provide an outlet or an expression of that for us.
Would you say that you may have more respect for an honest enemy than you would have for a disingenuous friend?
Yes.
Well, obviously.
Even if that person was doing everything they could to take you down, but they were doing so honestly.
Yes.
Well, if they're being honest and they're not doing everything they can, but I would answer yes.
It'd take a smarter man than me to answer that question. So yeah, you put the link up there. So I've come up to say thank you, everybody. I don't know that I could express what thoughts may be going through my mind if I hadn't have been able to have the conversations that I've had, with the people here. And there are some very good people here, and I've appreciated the time.
Well, we've appreciated it too, and hopefully you don't take hopefully it's 1 month at tops, and then you're back forcing us to look at things deeper.
Thank you very much, sir.
All
I
right.
appreciate everybody. See you
Take it
later.
easy. Josh,
Take
anything
care.
else before I drop you out?
Yeah, unlike Joe, I don't consider any of y'all fuckers friends.
Don't
Fuck
lie to
that
us.
bullshit, right? What the fuck? There's some people I like, right? But the level of friendship, I'm not going that damn far. Fuck all y'all. I will grant this though. I think there's been some. I've had some people ask some questions that have really screwed my mind over. Which that part I kind of like. Sometimes you have to have something to wrestle with, right? And it works. But his assessment was true. I live in a foreign country. I obviously don't fit in where I'm at, right? Like I'm surrounded by people that are exactly polar opposite of me, right? So some of you fuckers is what I've got left, right? That's about it.
And one of the first things I noticed about this sort of thing when I first started socializing on the internet is that it brings me into contact with types of people I never would experience in my real day-to-day life.
Will fucking strongly agree.
Yeah. And that is I appreciate that. Even if I think people are fucking weird or nerds or whatever, it's good to have those perspectives that, I just sort of walked past in high school or, whatever. There's a whole world of people out there that at least I treat as invisible in day-to-day life, and they're not.
Hey, I was gonna ask, do you ever travel?
Not a ton, but yes.
Do you ever do like camping trips, things like that? You ever plan on coming?
When I was younger, yeah.
Well, I meant now.
No, I haven't been camping in probably 10 years.
Hunting?
No, I haven't really traveled much in a while, and I'm not allowed to own a gun. I've never bow hunted. I've heard bow hunting is fun, but I've never done it.
If would you do like a hunting trip if could get a rifle in your hands and it be legally done?
Then I absolutely would.
Okay,
I enjoyed hunting. Yeah.
I'm trying to shit, I'm really trying to get back stateside, right? And I'm trying to get this people together for like a hunting trip or something like that. Of course, right? Like we're all going to show up with our wives too, right? But there's enough houses, right? You can house people, right?
Right.
Not so much of a big problem, but
So this month I haven't done it yet. I've got the paperwork filled out, but I haven't turned it in yet. But I'm applying to get my shit expunged. So hopefully I have my gun rights back soon. But yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right.
Does
all right.
this make us friends?
Make us friendly? Why do we have to put titles on shit, right? But
right.
like this, seriously, I'm actually trying to get together like a hunting trip. I've got a shit ton of property, and on that property is a lot of houses, right? And if I could just manage to get back stateside.
Where what part of, like in the Northeast, like New York and stuff?
Catskill Mountains, New York.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been in that area. That'd be good.
Oh, it's just not a lot of bullshit, not a lot of people, plenty of hunting, plenty enough. There's enough stuff to keep the girls busy, at least while we get
Cooking.
drunk, get stupid, and probably try not to kill each other accidentally. I don't know. Like I said, we don't usually have any of those problems, right? But yeah, I don't drink much, but got plenty of alcohol. I don't know.
I really don't anymore either. It's like it lost a lot of its fun. Well, one, when I turned 21, it lost some fun. Two, when I got in serious relationships, it lost more fun. And now I'm like in my Hank Hill years, and it just sounds like a hassle.
Could be. I probably agree with you. I've never really been in a position where I can't come home and get drunk, right? Because if I get called into work, I can't say no.
You could get called in stateside.
No, I never get called stateside. It's just whenever you're on post, you're there permanently. Like there's no such thing as like off duty. It doesn't really happen. They call, you show up. Like it is what it is, really. Getting called stateside, not me, right? Like anybody that's way above me, they're always going to get the decent post. I'm not particularly a liked person. I spent too many years I spent too many years being mouthy and like the annoying questions, not like the disrespectful questions.
Are we there yet?
Yeah. Like that kind of shit, right? So they didn't like that growing up, and it just is. Right. It is what it is.
But hey, I do got to bounce. I am kicking you off. I'll put my email backstage if you want it. And let's see. To all the rest of you motherfuckers still here, while me and Josh bromance. Hold on.
Fuck, you got to put it that way too. Fuck you.
No, that would be just gay. Bromances aren't gay.
I think they're pretty gay.
All right, I got to remove Josh. He's distracting me from ending. I'm trying to finish, guys. I'm trying to finish. Okay. Let's see. So earlier, Go With The Flow came up a lot. People kept saying a lot, and I meant to play. When I ended the stream, I meant to play the song Go With The Flow that 007 wrote, and I forgot it. But now I'm going to play it on the way out. I'm going to play it for an outro. Songs by 007. You all know him. I made the little video compilation, but and then after that, I've got to redirect. If you were here for the religious conversation and have just hung around because, I don't know, for some reason, I'm redirecting you to a place where I don't know what they're talking about right now, but it's likely a good place for these sort of topics if that's your thing.
Go with the flow.
This is the flow state.
Go with the flow. You're in a flow state. Go with the flow. Get in the flow state.